in our community. For even more actionable content and powerful lessons, download the free companion app now. Just search for The Winners Club in the App Store or Google Play. For more information about The Winners Club and how to become part of our growing community, head to thewinnersclub.club. Now, back to the show.
So we are back. If you have gone onto YouTube because of Paul and what they call the radio, well, they call it a throw forwards. If you were so intrigued by being able to watch on YouTube, and if you click the link at the top of the room for our link tree, you'll now be sadly disappointed because he's turned the platform on, but he's turned the cameras off. He's having a technical nightmare this morning.
He's lost so much weight and he's lost his mind as well.
He carried half the weight in his face and half in his brain, and unfortunately the brain bit's gone first. Here he goes.
Hi, my name's Paul Abercrombie and I lost 2.5 stone on the Slim Fast plan. Had a delicious, nutritious shake at morning and night and the weight just fell off.
You're right, I do have a shake. Huel.
Oh, you're not on the Huel, are you?
For breakfast.
It's Stephen Bartlett.
It worked.
There you go. Good advert for it, isn't it? You've interviewed Stephen Bartlett. You've had some interesting people on your podcast in the last couple of weeks. How did those sorts of things come about? 'Cause were you emceeing that event in Dubai as well?
No, I was. There was an MC on the event. So there's golf business and Arabian business in Dubai. Golf business, the boss of golf business is Andrew Wingrove, and he said to me, look, we're getting Stephen Bartlett into Dubai. Would you be interested in interviewing him live on stage at Dubai Opera? No, they didn't say that. They said, well, we've got a couple of ideas. Let's brainstorm it. And I'm like, you're getting Stephen Bartlett to Dubai? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, when? And so they told me the date. I'm like, he's doing that with you on the back of the gig he's doing with me, because he was doing a gig with me with Aldar, a big property developer over there, and I'd organised for him to come in and do the Aldar event.
Okay.
And so Stephen's team had obviously tried to find some more work while he was there, and got in touch. And so and the guys at Golf Business had Stephen in Saudi Arabia a few weeks earlier. So they said, would you like to, we're going to do this thing this evening, and would you like to interview him and do it as part of your podcast on stage? And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. Cool. And then we spent, I was lucky enough to spend a couple of days with him, and we had him, Lewis House. We've had loads of, and you know what? This stuff I filmed the other day with Lisa, the best people were the people with the best stories.
Yeah.
Not the most famous or well-known or notoriety. Yeah. They had the best stories. I've just seen in the chat there, Neera, the lady that's son died in the car accident. Really compelling stories for me. I mean, you do this. When you've got a really compelling story and someone's got you gripped by that story, that's, to me, so much better.
More important.
So much better, yeah. But
having said that, I'm a Lewis Howes fanboy, so is he as nice as I would perceive that he is?
Lewis is a very sweet human being. He's giant. He's huge guy. He's lovely. He really is lovely. He connects emotionally with people. It was really interesting to watch him speak at the event. So there was 600-700 real estate brokers. So Stephen comes in, talks all about social media. I'm talking about sales on stage there. So I'm doing the sales stuff, which they'll identify with. The social media stuff they identify with. They don't all like it because they don't like doing social media, all of them. But they all get it. And then Stephen came, and you've got loads of different nationalities, and he's talking about dealing with your emotions and how you feel and stuff like that. And you could see a lot of these salespeople looking up at the stage going, feelings?
How's that get me flogged that house?
Feelings? Inner chi, what's that? Breathing techniques? And then all the women, he was talking about relationships as well, so all the women were like, oh yeah, relationships is so special. And then a lot of these guys, honestly, I was watching these audience and they're just like, what's he talking about? But he's just a great human being.
Just give me another close.
Any other sales techniques? Yeah, well, what you need to do is work on your relationships. These guys are just like, don't even know how to do that.
And I'll get a bigger check in.
Yeah. Are you buying me dinner? So I think that he's good. There have been better. I mean, I go back to the people that have been the best stories. When I was with Rangan Chatterjee the other day, he's like, what is the favourite episode you ever had on your podcast? And I said, it was Nick Yaris, the guy that was on death row for 20 years for a crime he didn't commit. That was the first episode. And he's like, why? I said, because I didn't speak for 45 minutes as he told this story. I was just gripped literally by the story. And I loved every minute of it. And I've been in touch with him ever since. And when anybody listens to that, they experience the same kind of feeling, because you just can't believe somebody went through what he went through for as long as he did and suffered the way that he did. And yet he came out and he's kind, you know, and he's sensitive and he's compassionate. And he wants everyone to do well and be successful. And he wants everyone to be more caring and loving. You would expect, you know, this guy just to wave the white flag, throw the towel in, you know, be angry for the rest of his life. But he just wasn't. So and then I said to Rongan, have a listen to it on the train on the way home, which he did. And he called me after and he's like, yeah, that guy's powerful. I'm going to try and get him on the podcast. So, yeah, I think that, like with all of the guests we have, it's you don't always know beforehand. Yeah. You know, some of the crypto people, for example, some of them are epic. Raoul Paul, how epic is he as a speaker? Brilliant talker about crypto. Josh Riddick, the crypto mining guy, really well-spoken guy, can deliver the message the right way. And then I have some other crypto people that I'm like, God, this is painful. And I'm sat there for an hour going, God, and you're losing me. And if you're losing me, you know for sure what's going on. You know, you're losing me as fast as Paul Abercrombie.
One of those a couple of weeks ago.
As fast as Paul Abercrombie's losing weight.
Oh, that's quick.
So and you just don't know, and you just don't, you know. There's a guy, you know, Jay Alderton.
Yeah. Grenade Jay.
So he lives in Bognor Regis or something.
That's right. Yeah. EMC.
Goes in the sea. He was on the podcast.
He's in the sea right now. He always does it on a live feed, doesn't he?
Does he do what on a live feed?
He goes in the sea, goes like cold dipping and talks about Stoic philosophy, and then goes and sits in the water in Bognor Regis.
Yeah. So sometimes you connect with people and the chemistry's good, and sometimes, you know, it could be better. But there's people in this room right now that have got very, very powerful stories that haven't shared it with anyone. Yeah. They've been through a journey that you couldn't imagine, and some of the people listening right now will know who they are. You know, you've been through hell, and you've come out the other side, and that story needs to be told, but you keep it to yourself. You know, and I mean some of the most traumatic experiences ever, because that story being shared can help somebody feel a bit better. And if you get the opportunity to do it, then do it.
What's the biggest change of your mentality that you've had from doing your podcast? Because obviously you started doing the kind of the standard podcasty thing, talking to successful people about being successful. Then you had you accidentally almost found yourself having these like really meaningful conversations. You're like, shit, that's what I need to talk about. Like, forget like how to become like 1% better in your sales. Like, let's talk about human trafficking. Let's talk about how people get dragged from their homes to go and work elsewhere, and they can find that forgiveness. Or even like sort of the ecological farming stuff that you're like, why are people not, you know, you take an acre of space and you build it 10 foot tall and now you've got 10 acres of space or whatever. That maths didn't work, I appreciate. But why and how did you end up?
Look, I started because when you start interviewing people that have got powerful stories, it starts to resonate in different ways. My social media team hate me for it, because they're like, Spence, you have to have a niche. You focus on that niche. That's your space. That's what you do. And
the
I'm
only
like,
consistency with yours, you go to the gym early. Talk about not wanting to go to the gym early, and on a Friday you go for a walk in the mountains. That's about it. That's the only thing. If they want consistency, they've got the wrong job, haven't they? Other than that, it could go any which way.
Yeah. They're like, Spence, you know, you're 1 minute you're talking about sales, then you're talking about business, then you're talking about investing, then you've got different guests on the podcast. I'm like, this is all about my journey. You know, I'm not producing my podcast for everybody to listen to. I'm producing it because I'm having conversations with real people and their stories matter to me. And if you like what I do, great. And if you don't, I think there's 7 million podcasts out there or something outrageous, isn't there? Yeah. So you'll find something that suits you. But for me, it's just like I want to be stimulated by human beings, and I like heroes. And like in every movie, what do we have? We have a villain, a hero, and a sage. Every movie, Karate Kid. What have we got? Daniel-san, Mr. Miyagi, the sage, and then you've got the Cobra Kai, yeah? Your villain. Every great movie has the villain and the sage and the hero story. And so for me, it's I like the hero story. I like to get emotionally attached to the people that I'm talking to in that 1.5, 2 hours, whatever it is I'm spending with them.
Has anyone, you said the hero's journey, is there anyone, especially within sort of the podcast or I guess maybe the TV stuff, where you go in expecting, like the person who owns the brothel that you talked about, did you go in expecting, oh, that's our villain of this piece, but actually this guy talks very openly about how he runs his business and how he looks after the people that he employs, and he runs it just, is there anyone that you've gone like, I want to walk in here hating this person, I go in with a preconceived idea and they completely change you, like, How did I end up having that opinion?
That was a perfect example. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go in that brothel. I'm going to have words with this guy. We're going to have a conversation about what he's up to, you know, because I'd spent 3 days in Amsterdam filming with a lady that had been trafficked for years, a beautiful human being that had been mega badly trafficked. So I'm ready for it, you know, out of the red light district in Thailand, I'm ready for it. And this guy in Madrid, I'm like, I want to talk to him. I want to know what's going on. And there's nothing you're going to tell me that's going to convince me that you're doing anything right, yeah? And he was just a really nice guy that was nothing like anything, and ran a legitimate legal business, okay, and showed me how he ran it. And although a lot of people will disagree, in Spain, the rules are the rules like they are in every country, and he was doing everything and abiding by the law. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. That was just a perfect example.
And on the flip side of that, have you had anyone who you expected to be like the hero? Because a lot of people you're from sort of the old school financial world. Is there anyone who you've sort of, bring it back to the subject of today's sort of conversation about the crypto space, is there anyone you've had an interview with, you think, oh, they look like doing interesting stuff, you've scratched the surface, you're like, they're just selling rocking horse shit here?
Yes.
Okay, cool, thought so. I think I listened to that episode as well.
We'll mute in a minute and then tell us, and then we'll come back on.
Sometimes I get off the podcast and I'm like, what a load of B, you know? It's like, I know exactly what you're up to, sunshine.
We are now live on YouTube. Sorry if you've been following along with that. We've got some gremlins coming in with the cameras. Mevo, if you're listening, your product's shit. There we go.
You can't say shit on Clubhouse, can you?
You can before the watershed.
We make our watershed up every morning. It's 7:15 this morning, the watershed. We can swear up until 7:15.
Oh, hold on, Paul, quickly. Gavin Pomfret is on here this morning. I just need to say something.
Does he work for Mevo?
Gavin Pomfret, his dad taught me how to sell.
Okay.
And he is, before he passed away, he's a legend. He literally is a legend in the world of sales. And he was the guy that taught me everything that I know about sales. And the fact his son's here this morning, I've spoken to his son. Gavin, how you doing, mate? Just wanted to say a big shout out to your dad again, because he was a massive part of my life.
There we go. So we are live on YouTube. You can click at the link at the top of the screen if you're listening to us on Clubhouse, and you can click on YouTube and you can see us in our studio feed, providing that everybody stays within their little small window of where the camera is, which is difficult because we all work in mobile phones for Clubhouse and trying to be on camera. So everyone looks down. The moment
also,
you look down,
Mevo's like...
you get a view of your forehead.
Should I just be looking at the camera?
Well, you have been up until now, yeah.
Oh.
Spencer's
Hi, good morning. My name's Spencer Lodge. I'm a larger version of Paul Abercrombie.
We're also known as the unproducibles.
That's why I get my hair cut every week. That's all people see is the top of my
Your
head.
forehead and the top of head. So yeah, we're live on YouTube.
That's all people see anyway. When you stand up, you numpty.
That's why I spray out shaving my hair.
We're live on YouTube. You can watch that, or you can listen along to us on Clubhouse. We're talking about the art. Well, we've gone in all sorts of directions, but we're talking about, is crypto the future of finance? And I picked that topic actually because you have, Spencer, had some fantastic crypto guests on your podcast, and every Wednesday we talk about crypto, and we're working on a couple of our own crypto projects as well at the moment here for the Winners Club. The Crypto.com COO, what an unbelievable guy he was.
Oh yeah,
you know, some people you listen to and you know they're just incredibly sharp.
Yeah.
Like he was just one of them.
He really downplayed it as well.
One of them people.
Do you know what? It was really interesting having him, because I didn't expect him to look like that, be like that at all. I had a picture in my mind, you know, successful company, COO. It was just like, in my mind, he was going to be a certain somebody. And Stuart, who's the GM, Stuart Isted, who's from Wickford in Essex, is the GM of Crypto.com in Dubai, said to me, do you want him on the podcast? And I'm like, hell yeah, absolutely. Came on, he walked in, he had a hoodie on and a pair of jeans, whereas all of his employees that were there, the PR team and everybody else, they're all in their suits and looking smart. And and he was all very humble, and he kept saying to me, is that okay? Have I done that okay? It was just... What a super dude, and I don't know a business on the planet ever in my 52 years that has done what they've done. I've never heard of one.
Said that a few times.
Never heard of one. They've been going 5.5 years.
And they've got what, 4,000?
4,000 staff. They think they'll have 25,000 staff.
100 million clients, is it now?
No, so at the beginning of
10 million, isn't
beginning of 2021, they had 10 million. They hope to have by the end of this year 100 million clients. He's nuts.
He's sort of saying that to the guy in the interview, and he's like, "Yeah."
But
it's
their
like, it was like
marketing
average.
plan-
Like, people don't do this. Like, and you were sort of saying to him, like, I've been around the block a few times. Like, I've never seen this happen. He's like, yeah, we've got great product market fit. You've got great people.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
But I think a lot of the crypto companies, whatever they end to be, the big tech is going to come out of crypto, isn't it? But a lot of those companies are going to just rewrite the rule book on time in terms of scale and growth. They're like nothing, like crypto, like crypto.com, like nothing we've ever seen before. But there'll be others that come from that crypto space. It will be exactly the same.
You can see them, can't you? You can see FTX.
Yeah,
Sam Bankman-Fried. You can see Coinbase. You can see Binance. And there are many more. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine that's a VC, and he's like, "Yeah, we're setting up a crypto exchange." I'm like, "You're from telecoms." He's like, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "But the money's in the crypto exchange," and straight down that path.
But their marketing play is genius. I was speaking to somebody the other day, and we was talking about NFTs and the project we're doing here with the mine, and Josh Ridditt's actually involved in that. I'll talk to you after about that. Was talking about that, and he said, he said, I've not really done much in crypto. I've got a crypto.com account because I thought, trust those guys because they're everywhere. They're on Formula One, aren't they? And he was just a normal person, not involved in business or crypto at all. And his straight away, the words that came to his mouth was, I've got a crypto.com account because they're everywhere, aren't they? I saw them on Formula One, so I thought I'll open an account with those guys. So it just goes to show that they're whoever's come up with that marketing play, just sponsoring huge events in the stadium that they sponsored as well.
Name one other company that had the same approach.
Ashley Shipman Sales Limited.
Well, I can.
Were you talking to hitters?
You can, but you've got to go back to the cigarette days. The cigarette sponsor, Emirates. You're right.
Emirates had the same strategy, global sports. So they wanted only global sports. So think about it. They sponsor football. They sponsor Formula One. They sponsor the World Cup. Okay.
Not just for football, they sponsor about 4 big teams in football as well, don't
they? Sponsor leagues and stuff all over the world. So they took global sporting, events.
What was interesting with the COO guy was the fact he sort of made it very clear they hadn't just gone after those events for reach or because of the eyeballs. It was because they wanted to connect moments. They're like, these are moments that matter to people. Formula One, World Cup, these are moments that we want to be. UFC. When you watch 5 greatest knockouts and the guy's literally punch drunk and gets knocked out, what are you seeing as well as the fight? But it's all in the background. It's all on the floor. You know, the blood is covered on the logo. And you look at it and go, oh, is that a good brand fit? But it's actually their moments.
Mm-hmm. What he's
subconsciously played over and over again.
When he was talking about that, and I wonder how long that comes into the UK, because he was talking about sponsoring, in the UK we call it VAR, the virtual assistant referee, where something happens and they're reviewing it. So I think it said Germany or France, they're sponsoring the VAR screen. So when the VAR comes up on telly and shows the decision right or wrong, the crypto.com sponsors on the VAR moment, right? But that doesn't happen here at the moment in the UK.
Don't Hublot go around that VAR stuff?
No, in the I think VAR in the UK, it's just a Premier League logo that's on it at the moment. But what an opportunity for sponsorship that is there if it was to come up, because that comes up 4 or 5 times, and you're like, oh my god, is that up? You're looking at it and you're arguing with your mates. No, that's not offside. Referee needs a pair of glasses. You know, you're having those conversations, and right there is crypto.com. It's genius.
The time it grabs your attention, like it's a decision that if it's a goal or something, everyone's waiting and everyone's testing that. Did it go over? Did it go over? Handball. But while they're doing that, they've got full focus and attention and hitting you with an ad.
Also, with those moments as well, you kind of, and this is sort of similar in a much smaller way in the podcast sponsorship space, because if you love a show, you listen to the wording and the messaging, you know, support our show by supporting our sponsors. You feel like you're almost grateful that brand is sponsoring that content to make it happen. So if you're a sport fan, you're watching the World Cup, you're loving it, and Crypto.com are there. They've obviously made that happen to a certain extent. You're watching UFC, they've made that happen to a certain extent. It's actually, it's so clever. Mm-hmm. It's probably not the cleverest thing that they've done, frankly, but given all of the stuff they're building out, but it's very smart what they've created.
Their native coin fell in value, didn't it? Because they've just, I'm trying to look at when they done it, but I saw a news article yesterday. They've just released or revised, because they was paying people rewards to promote their credit card. If you got their credit card and you was using it for transactions, you'd get rewarded in their native cryptocurrency.
8%, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they've just revised all of that downwards. Basically, anyone that had the old card still gets the full entitlement previously. But if you open a new card, it's been revised all the way. Like they've cut it quite a lot in terms of those rewards. So their native currency fell. I'm sure they're not bothered, but yeah, it dropped by like 30% in value over the last couple of days or something on their native cryptocurrency, as it would if people are reacting to that bad news that the rewards are cut.
So they're building out a native NFT platform as well, aren't they? I think
everyone is, isn't it? NFT platforms are like the latest arms race. It's nuts,
everyone's
isn't it? Trying to get one.
What do you? So the title of this room is Crypto the Future. What's your take on it? Because like I say, you come from sort of a more, sorry to keep dating you here, but you come from more old school. You're so old, Spencer Lodge. What do you think?
Rolodex.
You're a slag.
Rolodex and braces.
That's a different meaning in the old terms than it does right now, before anybody's offended, by the way. Yeah, what do you think? What are you making of this new? Is it the future? The more you're looking into it, the more people you're having
NFTs in terms of
with?
art are a load of nonsense in real terms.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone that's got a half an understanding what an NFT is knows that this is not about art. And I think that a lot of people might be listening, going, "Okay, I get that," and some are sitting there going, "I just thought it was art. Why do I want a picture of a bored ape or whatever it is?" What an NFT can do for a business is really important. So that technology and that strategy is a really important one. So I think that every business has the opportunity and the possibility, I'm good, thank you, Ash, as an opportunity or possibility to be able to use NFTs within their space.
Yeah.
And there are many examples out there already. Ticketing is a good example of it. Okay, but everything, smart contracts will be everywhere. If we go down the road 5 years, we won't have contracts the way we see them now. They'll all be smart contracts in 5 years' time. The question is 5 years a long way away for you and your business? Or is your business planning for the next 10 or 20 years? I mean, and that'll be different for every individual. I think that, and I'll give you an example. You'll have seen some content I made with an NFT, buying my first NFT that I put on Instagram Reels. So a lady called Amrita in Dubai, she created the first voice wave art. So what she did, you would say your name, Spencer, and imagine a sound wave. She would take that sound wave of me saying Spencer, which would be like that, and she'd create art in it. She then turned that into NFTs, digital art. And then behind it is a community. The value of the community is the value of the art.
Yeah.
Yeah? And to me, I want a really valuable community. So if I want to buy a piece of art and behind that is a load of potential TV production companies and directors and producers, for example, related to my television stuff, that's the community I want to be part of. If it's a bunch of rebels that drive Harley Davidson motorbikes and just go out there raping and pillaging, then maybe that's not really my kind of community. And I think that's the important thing, the utility in the community. And I know you talk about a lot and you're both quite knowledgeable on this subject, but I still think people don't get that.
No.
I just think they can't get their head around it because they're thinking of it in a different way. They keep thinking about the picture rather than what it's for. I've got an insurance business, and for sure, we're going to be having smart contracts within that business for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who's going to be the first one to do it? It will be governed probably by the biggest of the insurance institutions before we can get it. We're going to have to get them to do a pilot. Once they've run a pilot, then someone's going to have to embrace it and then commit to it in some form before it can become mainstream in that space. But I think that's where everything will go.
Do you think on the insurance topic, there'll be some pushback and resistance because the smart part of a smart contract is the automated settlement part that, in fact, in program language, it can do whatever you want it to do if certain events happen or don't happen. So in theory, you could live in a world where you could have a flood, for instance, and the smart contract would be able to use AI to determine whether or not a flood was likely to have happened on that day and that time. And then therefore an automated settlement could be paid. Now, I don't know the insurance industry.
Think about the cost saving of doing that for an insurance
Would
company.
would there be a cost saving?
Yeah, because think about all the
loss
man-
adjusters want to do is cut down the claims.
Yeah, but you think about all of the manpower, time, effort, and energy goes into the debate, the lawyers involved in the debate, and everything else. If it's literally clean cut through a smart contract, there no longer becomes a negotiation. No longer, it is what it is.
Yeah. You think of Ryanair and all the customer service that they have to employ to deal with the claims because they're 15 minutes late. If your airline ticket was a smart contract, it would be a matter of fact. It would be on the blockchain. Was that plane late? Yes, it was. Pay out a percentage return to everybody's tickets.
And it just helps companies run more efficiently.
Yeah.
So for sure.
Sorry to
No, it's a good point.
How far in advance are you looking
I
at
can't
that
see
kind of
Paul when I
stuff?
look at the camera.
Oh no, someone said in the back channel, because Spencer, can you get your head in the rectangle?
No. Gonna get my head in the rectangle. Get your head in the box.
How far in advance are you looking at sort of Web3 stuff? Because it's all well and good having the conversations on something like a podcast, and you can sort of, I guess, have a dabble and a punt at new technologies and investing in new formats. But as someone who runs quite substantial businesses, how far in advance are you considering like Web3 changes now? Are you keeping an eye on like the biggest players in each of the sectors and watching what they're doing, or how far are you forecasting ahead with this kind of stuff?
Web3 is just so exciting, isn't it?
It really is.
Just so exciting. It's gone from Web 1 and Web 2, which I won't bore people talking about because everyone knows about it, into a space right now where anybody making the effort can get rewarded. You think about that for a minute, okay? How many people over the years have created content over and over and over again and got nothing from it? The big people have, and my dad said to me when I was in Newcastle, so you got a YouTube channel, haven't you, Spence? I'm like, yeah. He goes, how much money do you make from that? I'm like, I don't. Why'd you do that then?
You mug.
You mug, basically. I'm like, well, where do you consume my podcast, Dad? He said, well, I used to listen to I used to watch you on YouTube. I don't anymore because your podcast is boring.
He really is a number one fan, isn't he, your dad?
I love you, Dad. Cheers, I love you so much.
See, I think Web3 is all the one word: community. That's it. It's unlocking community and bringing community into play, as opposed to and rewarding the community, as opposed to the community being the asset that you monetize.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is the big bit that I think, like you said, lots of businesses first missing the smart contract part, but then secondly missing the bit about the community play and just bringing the community, but also rewarding the community for their contribution, for their activity, for their engagement, for all of that stuff. That's, I think, Web3 in a nutshell. Yeah, for me.
I think.
Do you know? Right. I love anything that's the future. When I was a kid in the olden days, when television went from black and white to colour, we had a TV show called Tomorrow's World on, and it was
Tomorrow's
7 o'clock.
World.
And we actually looked at me like that. What's that? And I remember when the
Sinclair C5 and stuff out on it.
I had a Sinclair C5.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pedaling down the street in this little thing with a flag hanging out the top of it, and so it's like the future, and it was just so unimaginable back then. This is going to be the future. You're all going to walk around with a telephone with no cable attached. And we were like, shut up, that's just nuts. And people that fight the future and fight progress, I just think are idiots. Oh, well, this won't happen in my business and this won't happen. It's just like, but it did. And it has kept repeating itself over and over again. Yeah. And you end up using it as well. Why don't you just try and embrace it a little bit more and see how, if you really understood it, how it could help the future of your business or your industry. And if you come about it from that point of view, and crypto's a great example. How many people are like, I can't get my head around it. It hurts my head trying to understand it. It means nothing. It does nothing. It is nothing. And what coin? And I don't understand. It's a coin, is it not? Oh, it hurts my. I give up.
Yeah.
But I put 10 grand into it because someone told me I can make a load of money. Yeah. And so it's just like, try and learn, try and find people that can educate you in a way that you can learn it, and stop resisting it, stop fighting it. Because going back to my old world, the governments print money as and when they want to. That's why this has happened. This happened because governments decided to devalue what we valued. Governments decided that your £20 that's in your wallet was going to be at a value that they set and not you. And so that's how this Rebel Alliance thing started in the first place. Cryptocurrency started because of this. And governments are still doing it to this day. When I lived in Nigeria when I was a kid, I talked to my dad about this. There was 1 naira to the dollar. There's now 500 naira to the dollar.
Yeah, it's mad.
When I lived in South America, where $1 was 1 peso in Argentina. Okay,
Argentina.
And overnight it collapsed. $1 became 1 peso. $1 became 2 pesos. 50% devaluation. Yeah, 50% devaluation. When you see Zimbabwe, okay, goes into hyperinflation. Venezuela, hyperinflation. Currencies, they're putting extra zeros on the money. Governments have decided to devalue our money that we work hard for because they run up a debt somewhere or they start a war somewhere. I won't get political on this, but I can. Okay, that's what they decide to do. So they've got free reign. The central bank has free reign to go and print as much as they want. Now, if you remember in the olden days, they didn't do it. You would have seen it on the telly where they would burn old £5 and £10 notes and bring in new ones into circulation. You would see that. That's where they're printing money. No, don't be fooled by it, okay? They're printing as much money as they want to or they need to. That's what they're doing. And they can do whatever they want. At the central banks in each country, they can do whatever they want. Now, someone said, that's not right. And that's the same with anything, isn't it? When something's not right, someone goes, that's not right. Is there an alternative? Now the alternative is so terrifyingly scary for governments because they can't own it. Okay, there's all this resistance. But mark my word, it is the future. How many organisations went from you paying in cash in their shop or their business to you only being able to pay with card through COVID? Okay, and now how many of us don't even carry our wallet because our credit card's on our phone?
Yeah.
Okay, how many of us are going Bush, Tesco's, wherever it might be? Now, okay, there's still real money going into your bank account because you're earning £2,000 a month, whatever your salary is that's going in. Okay, but that's becoming worth less and less and less. We have inflation at 7%, 8% officially. Trust me, it's not. It's way higher. It's 15%. Your £100 after 12 months is worth £85 in real terms.
Yeah.
Okay? Think about that for a second. Anyone's got money sitting in the bank, your money's going down in value sitting in the bank. Not because it's going down in value because you've done anything wrong, but because the governments have decided to print as much as they want.
Inflation went up 2.7% last month.
It's insane. So what's your alternative? Your alternative is to find an alternative. You see property prices go up in value and everyone's, I'm making loads of money from property. Are you? Are you really making loads of money from property? Because if your house goes up by 15% in value this year, you've made no money. Oh, yeah, I did. No, you didn't, because your money's gone down in value. Your property is valued in pounds or in dollars, wherever you live. You've really got to understand this. And that's why you've got to say, what have we got? And someone went, that's not right. Then there became a wave of, people. I interviewed the guy one of the founders of Ethereum. He was a tough guy to interview, yeah? You probably listened to him. It's probably the guy we're talking about, isn't it? Oh, man, I was like, stay with it, Spence. Stay with it. You can do this. No, just another 45 minutes to go. And they sat down and they went, there's got to be a better way. And we're sitting here and the vast majority of the population don't understand what it is. There are 90% of the people investing in crypto are investing because they think they can get rich quick. The other 10% are investing because they really get it. Take time to learn about the future of money because it's your money, it's your life, it's your pension, your retirement, your kids' education. It's everything related to you and your family's future that is being affected by your naivety and your ignorance. Don't be like that. Get invested in spending. Spend 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day. Go for a walk with your dog or whatever it might be. Go for a walk every night or every morning and listen to a crypto podcast. Yeah. Okay. Whether that's your one or another one, where you can learn. Okay. And don't worry about it. When I first learned the financial services industry, this is the true story. I used to read The Sun and The Mirror every day. Yeah. Okay. I joined the financial services industry and my boss gave me the Financial Times. I couldn't even fold it. Do you remember it? It was like having a poster. How do you get on the train and fold that and read any of that? So what I would read is I'd read the front page and then I'd read the back page because that was the easiest thing to do. But this is back in 1993. It was so big, and the first couple of weeks of reading it, it was just like, what a load of nonsense. Yeah. There's no Madonna in here. There's no football scores in here. There's none of that kind of stuff. I don't know what happened in EastEnders. I'm reading the Financial Times. But after a few weeks, I started to understand what was going on. And I became more educated and more clear on how the financial services industry, the stock markets worked, how the bond markets, commodities, derivatives and stuff worked. Once I started to understand it, I started to understand money. And when I started to understand money and economies, okay, and the future of companies and how businesses grow, once I got that education, I started to be able to do stuff with my own money. Now, the world has moved on. Everyone listening to this right now, if you don't understand crypto, you're so damaging to yourself. And if it's like with your kids. My daughter Taylor, my eldest, she was investing in crypto before I even told her to. She opened her own trading account. She put 500 quid in, okay, and she invested across 5 different coins. And I'm like, why are you doing it? She goes, Dad, it's the future. Don't you know?
My eldest daughter wants to do. She doesn't know what she wants to do, but she wants to do. She's 13, so it may change, but she wants to do something in technology, and she loves.
Does she?
Yeah, she loves computing at school, and I guess it's probably she gets that from me because I love a bit of technology, don't I? I love to spend on a bit of technology. Not that, yeah, not that good at. Yeah, so there's gadgets all over our house. So she's taken to technology, but obviously she's not going to get. My gut feeling is she's not going to get the education she needs from doing it at school, because what she's doing at school, they're still teaching her to learn Microsoft Office with the greatest respect in the world.
Sorry, teachers.
Seriously, come on now. How to use Excel and Word. That is still what they're going over, right?
I don't know how to use that still.
No, so I'm enrolling her into a JavaScript course and then blockchain for kids, 6-month blockchain for kids program.
Amazing.
Yeah, because if she wants to learn how to program something, learn how to program that.
Yeah,
don't learn how to use Microsoft Word. That will come naturally. You don't need to spend your education learning that. So I'll support her in education outside of.
I bet your wife loves that conversation when she comes home from an IT class. Guess what I did today? Don't say it.
No, my wife, she said to me the other day, how's this crypto shit that you're up to? That's what she said. That's what she said to me. Have you launched your crypto shit yet? I said, you should listen to a podcast. Actually, I've got one that you should listen to. She went, I'm not listening to your voice anymore and I need to. That was, so, yeah.
The course that you've got for your daughter, what is it, like an online sort of distance learning?
Yeah, I was obviously searching for stuff and I was targeted via Instagram.
Oxford promoting a lot of that.
No, this was this is an American one. I won't recommend it yet until I've actually put her through it, because then I'll find out. But it's just online. Basically, it's learning JavaScript through games, and then
Paul's finding someone to have a conversation with.
and then it goes on to beyond that. Then it goes on to sort of more advanced blockchain stuff, but learned it in like a gaming type environment. So
that's cool, isn't it?
So we'll see how that goes. But because that to me is, like you say, is the future. And the problem you've got, well, it's not a problem. It's good for all of us, but bad if you're not keeping yourself up to date with stuff, is it will happen so quickly because it's all open source. So technology curves in previous big tech has been difficult for people to catch up because stuff's hidden and closed and centralized, isn't it? So Facebook develops something and it's developed within Facebook, and unless somebody can copy it or really get the inside track of how it works, it needs them to do the development to catch up. But almost all of blockchain projects are public and open source. So you can go onto GitHub and you can go and copy the code of the latest developed smart contract. But this also is a worry for banks. And I know this for a fact. I went for a dinner. You probably haven't heard this yet, Spencer, but I went for a dinner a couple of weeks ago with some people that are in compliance to do with, they work for big banks.
Crypto compliance.
Yeah. So the theme of the dinner was about how digital assets can be handled by large financial institutions to give them comfort to be able to bring crypto into their ecosystem.
I hope the dinner was good.
It was nice curry, but the conversation went off in all sorts of places. But one of the worries is that a big bank, take Visa, or take a big bank for instance. I'll say Visa. They want to develop a team of people, or they have got a crypto team. But previously to now, if they wanted to come up with a piece of fintech, they could invest in fintech. They could keep that closed to the public, and they could launch a product that was their product that people couldn't copy or couldn't catch up to pretty quickly, and they would get the market, they would jump the market a little bit, and they'd have a fintech product of some sort. Now in this world, they can't operate in that old modus operandi. They can't do that anymore. Now they hire a team of blockchain developers. They develop a smart contract that might be, meet compliance regulations, and it may work in the way that big banks want it to work, but then immediately somebody could go and copy it. So they can't get that competitive edge to get that market share that they want anymore, because it's gone. Because the moment they release a product, it's open. Most of it's open source or available to view. Away they go, somebody copies it. So it will happen a lot quicker. That innovation curve will be a lot quicker than it has been previously.
And how cool is that for essentially the end user or the end beneficiary?
Yeah.
You know, there's just so much more advantages to that, isn't there? I love that.
What's the feedback that you're getting? Because obviously Dubai is becoming quite a hub for sort of the world of crypto. They're kind of trying to make themselves a bit of a sort of a hub for all things crypto based. Is there a lot of excitement?
You know, when you have a parent and they just say no to everything, and then you have a parent.
That's what I felt like.
Then you have a parent that just is just like encouraging and supportive and gets behind you and champions you and stuff like that. That's how I compare the UK and the US with crypto versus Dubai. Yeah. It's almost like it starts with no in the UK in the terms of the mindset and the behaviour, whereas in Dubai, the government went, let's embrace it. Yeah. You know, we think this is good. We like this. We don't need to listen to anybody else. We like this. You know what? Is that going to make our country better? Is that going to make our city better? Is that going to make the way we run everything better? Well, I've got an open mind. And so you just see a very different approach to it.
Why do you think that is?
I think Dubai's very unique. I mean, you got a fastest growing city in the world, and they ran out of oil in Dubai. Abu Dhabi still has oil, but they ran out of oil in Dubai, and so they had to build an economy. And so tourism obviously became one of them. Financial services also became one of them. And so they want their country to be the number one in many things. So they're fiercely ambitious. They're trying to catch up as quick as they can because the country's younger than me. It's 51 years old this year. You know, I'm 52 next month. This month. It's literally younger than me. So there's a real great ambition to make the place great. And so anything that's new, anything that could be new, anything that's the future is embraced. Rather than, no, we'll do a little bit of thinking about this first. It's like, well, bring it to us, show it. We want to learn. And I like that. It's really, and everyone in Dubai, and again, I know there's people listening to this right now going, I hate Dubai. Why would you want to live there? It's hot and sweaty and it's sandy and it's all this. If you've never lived in Dubai, shut up. Okay? Get back in your basket. Seriously. If you've been on a 2-week holiday there in August where you burnt, because you were like Icarus close to the surface of the sun. Because
it was cheap flights in August.
Because you got a cheap package deal. Get back in your basket. You don't know anything about Dubai. I've lived there for 17 years. Trust me. Don't have an opinion on something unless you really know what you're talking about. So Dubai is a very cool city to live in. And when you're in a place like Dubai, you're surrounded by other people that went there to go and build their futures. Nobody goes to Dubai to be on the dole. Nobody goes to Dubai, to work a 9-to-5 job. Everyone that goes there is going there to look for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So what you have is a really optimistic, positive mindset of a lot of people there. There's people there that want to have a great future for themselves and their families. And let's face it, no disrespect, but if I had the choice of Ilford, really? Ilford? Cranbrook Road?
Or the Burj Khalifa?
I mean, I drove around some beautiful parts of England yesterday, and don't get me wrong. And let me tell you about London. London is the best city in the world when the sun is shining and it's warm. But that only happens 6 days of the year. So the rest of the time, it's cold and it's grey. And, even standing out of the sun and in the shade, it goes from, warm to Baltic. Wherever you live, be around positive people, be around motivated people, be around people that want to try and be somebody or try and achieve something or try and make a difference. And that doesn't have to be just related to money. So I don't think it is. When you're surrounded by people that see the negative in everything, or a lot of people that are just miserable and spend their time complaining, we want to talk about men's mental health. God, if you were surrounded by people every day that were just miserable, that happens a lot. In Dubai, we don't seem to have it. We seem to have a very kind of ambitious nation, from the founders, the rulers, through to the what is it now, nearly 87% of the population that come from overseas.
Is that how big the population is?
Most of the people from overseas, 13% local.
How do you as a dad juxtapose your opinions of where you live with having kids that are parked up in England? Are you like,
they're
on?
They're at university in the UK. They've been travelling backwards and forwards to Dubai for a long time, and
Are you thinking get out to Dubai as soon as you got your degree?
I'd love them to be in Dubai.
Yeah.
I'd love them to come to Dubai and live in Dubai with their new careers, because obviously my black book is not UK. My black book is Dubai, and so I'd love them to work for me. But what I want more than anything else is for them to be happy.
Yeah.
And again, when they've lived in the UK most of their lives, when you live in the UK and you're surrounded by the people you're surrounded by, you then become influenced by those people, and you start to share views and opinions, and you start to be negative about stuff you don't know anything about. And so sometimes that can infiltrate your decision-making process. But as far as I'm concerned, anyone leaving university or school, whether it's an apprenticeship or whatever it may be, don't let anyone tell you what you can be. Don't let anybody tell you what you can do. Go and do what you want to do, no matter what it is. And it doesn't have to be about making money. Go and do what makes you smile your face off every single day. Because if you get up every day doing that, don't matter what it is, you'll have a laugh.
What do they study, your kids?
Katie's studying film at Met Film, and Taylor graduates in a couple of months' time. She's done art and graphic design at UAL.
Okay. Taylor's one of my favourite people. She's the person who introduced me to how small Ashley Shipman's feet are within the first 30 seconds of meeting him.
Spence come up to me and was like, "Look, if you get lost, just come find Ash and go sit down." She's like, "Oh, isn't your feet small?"
No, she said, "Don't you get a discount?"
Oh, actually, yeah.
She said, "You get a discount." And you went, "Discount on what?" And she said, "Shoes, for how small your feet are." Oh,
But she was serious.
Brilliant.
Genuine.
And that's it. I would walk past her through the weekend and she'd be like, "Oh, look at your feet, they're so small."
Oh no! I sat next to her at that dinner, and I'd never met her before, and she just had me in bits. The whole dinner just had me in bits. How old is she? 20
She's
old.
22. Yeah, she's 23.
Very bright girl for that age.
Thank you.
Very worldly wise.
I'm going to do a quick reset. We'll be back after this.
You are listening to Breakfast with Winners. Exclusive content direct from the Winners Club. If you are enjoying the conversation, click on the green Monopoly house at the top of the screen right now and join the thousands of winners already in our community. For even more actionable content and powerful lessons, download the free companion app now. Just search for the Winners Club in the App Store or Google Play. For more information about the Winners Club and how to become part of our growing community, head to thewinnersclub.club. Now, back to the show.
Good morning, everyone. We are live. This is Breakfast with Winners. We're live from our studio. Apologies if you're watching the YouTube feed and the cameras keep going black and then coming back on. It's I know what the problem is, but I can't fix it mid-broadcast. So there we go. You're just going to have to live with it, and I'll have to keep getting up and switching the cameras on and off again.
You normally blame me for that, don't you?
No, it's the software. I know what it is. I know the problem. I just can't bring myself around to fix it. It's just a bit of a task.
Well, I was in here Sunday on my own, so I was feared that I was going to get lumped with the responsibility. Didn't walk in this room on Sunday.
Kicking me out of my office, by the way.
Can I ask you guys a question? Yeah. Why did you start a podcast called? Is it called Everything About Crypto or Learning About
Understanding Crypto? So why?
No, not for the audience.
Podcast.
Not for the audience. Tell me the truth.
Okay.
Why did you start that podcast about that subject?
Right.
Because we want to get rich, Spencer. I want to go live in Dubai next door to you, man.
I want to rug pull, take everybody's money. No. No.
I'll go for a walk in the woods, on the mountains on a Friday.
Having the beauty of this room and being on Clubhouse, I think to some extent you can create an echo chamber, but to another extent you can spot trends probably quickly because a lot of people are talking about stuff. So a lot of people were coming into here and a lot of other Clubhouse rooms that I were listening to, which is not a lot now, to be honest, because I try and spend all of my time when we're not in Breakfast with Winners. If I'm not working, I'm trying to consume crypto content. But probably about 8 months ago, I started saying to these guys, whatever we're doing with the Winners Club has to be done with an element of crypto. There's got to be a cross-section of crypto, community, everything that we're doing. And then I started looking at stuff to do with DAOs and creator coins, social tokens, all of the terminology that we've been doing. So I switched from just generally consuming all sorts of media, whatever took my fancy, really. I said to you about podcasts and stuff. I switched to just doing crypto-specific knowledge learning about 8 months ago, and every single minute of my time in a car, running, everything is either watching crypto YouTube, listening to Raoul Paul, or consuming some other form of crypto content or podcast. What I found, and this is why we started what we was doing. Firstly, we said if we're going to transition this community, because the problem we've always had with the Winners Club is product market fit. Most people build a community around a product that already exists. So they have a business, they have a product, they then build a community around a business. And we spoke about this at great length at EMC when we first met, didn't we, up on the balcony? We've ended up having a community for right, wrong reasons, for whatever reason it happened, call it luck, call it right time, right place, whatever happened, we've ended up building a community with no product. But that's not sustainable because it takes investment, it takes time, it takes resources to be able to drive that community forward.
Do you think people realise that?
But hopefully, because I keep telling them. But it takes a hell of a lot of commitment. The fact, well, you know, if you was to value our time, you know, if 90%, probably as an assumption, 90% of people in this room run their own businesses or are entrepreneurs, so they can understand valuing their own time relatively high. So if you just net back the time that the three of us have spent just contributing towards the running and the showing up for 15 months every morning, for many of those months it was morning and afternoon. We was doing a 4 p.m. room, so it was 7 days a week. And we was doing 4 p.m. rooms. So we was doing morning and 4 p.m. rooms, and it was running consistently. So we were, you know, the hours are scary. You know, we're into, oh, the cameras have gone off again, never mind. We're into the millions in terms of like in time for money, if you know what I mean. If you was to and I know you can't always rationalise stuff like that, but you've got to have a sense check sometimes and go, actually, what are we doing here? So we've struggled and we've said, oh, shall we build courses? Should we build an education platform? And we're trying to we've been trying to assume what the community would want without actually really knowing what they wanted. But what we do know is that we have a community of people that show up every morning, and this wouldn't be what it is without those people. How
many of that community do you think are using your clubhouse room for their benefit in terms of how they can find new clients and stuff? Well,
this was the issue, is that when we had a world where we initially brought a group of moderators in, and you know, an inner circle of James, do me a favour, reset the cameras for me while you're up there, because they've all gone off again. You have to turn them off and on. I don't know what's going on. Spencer's bought a bug from Dubai. At the early days, yes, because people worked out how to hack it. You know, Clubhouse was a very simple thing. If you came in and gave good value and you done it consistently, people would gravitate to you. It was a tool and a medium that nobody else had ever discovered before. Like, it wasn't like normal social media where you could go on, you could do an Instagram live or Facebook live, and occasionally a few people might comment. The relationship that you built up, Matt Wilson, as we all know, calls it the trust timer. That you could get that in Clubhouse a lot quicker than you could on any other platform. So in the early days, people were absolutely killing it with generating leads. There are people that are still doing it. It's their marketing strategy that they're using it for. And we were part of that marketing strategy. You know, people would come in, they would position themselves, they would give value within the room, and they would generate leads from it. We was fully aware of that. We could see what was happening. We was trying to control it in a manner that wasn't unedifying to everybody to listen to. And that's also been a challenge. So we've had all of these different things going on, and crypto, social tokens, creator coins seem to solve a lot of those problems for us and just unify it all back together again.
So you're going to launch a coin then?
Yes, this week. So hopefully. So
you said that to me like I should know. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, no. So basically,
you're launching. So you're launching.
Yeah. So we. I'll catch you up. So it's benefit for everybody else. Yeah. So we. The whole idea of the podcast was firstly to educate the audience, right? We couldn't just make every single morning about crypto. So we said, let's produce some content, those that are interested, because Gary Vee done it really well. When he done V-Friends, he started educating his audience months out. And he started saying, right, you're going to need a wallet. This is how you open a wallet. You're going to need to know about blockchain. This is what blockchain is. You're going to need to know about NFTs. This is what NFTs are, right? So we said, okay, we're going to need to do that. But equally, in the podcast market, what we noticed, every single blockchain podcast spoke at such a high level, assuming that everybody had a degree in computer science and could understand it. And that's not the case. Normal business owners like us it needs to be broken down into a simplistic way. Yeah. So we were sort of trying to kill two birds in one stone. We're attempting to educate people from here that want to be educated in that content in a way that we understand it, and sharing our journey in a simplistic way, because we're just two dumbasses at the end of the day, to try and simplify it for people, just as a concept of what a smart contract could be to people's businesses, how you can benefit from taking crypto as payment and what you can do with that afterwards. So all of that stuff has been going on, and the podcast, we're top 50. We've since launch we've stayed top 50 business podcasts across.
Number 37 today. Don't like to brag.
Across,
Does it matter to you what number you are?
Yeah, absolutely. You just clearly he's checking. Yeah,
Does it matter to you?
yeah, 100%.
Interesting.
Do you know what I gauge?
I've got a very fragile ego.
No, I
see.
gauge it against the other crypto podcasts. So it doesn't matter to me what number we are, as long as it's like being a Tottenham fan. It doesn't matter if we finish 4th, as long as, or finish 15th, as long as Arsenal finish 16th, right? That's my measure for success. It's a bit like that in the crypto podcast. I'm looking at the other.
Do you have guests?
No, it's just us two at the moment. We will get to a point where our knowledge is expended and it needs to become a bit more technical.
We're getting there fast.
We'll start to bring on guests. But up until now, we're breaking down all the complexities of that. Each episode is a different topic: wallets, blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're just going through the main key sort of 15, 20 topics.
And so the purpose of creating that podcast was to educate an audience, and then you're going to you've created a coin, you're launching this week, and you're going to give people the opportunity to buy the coin.
Yeah, we are.
What's the coin called?
TWC, the Winners Club. The Winners Club
So
coin.
the coin is called TWC.
Yeah, $ TWC.
And you're launching it when?
This is a difficult question to answer. I'll tell you the reasons why. We went through, and this is the other reason for the podcast. We're launching our coin with Rally, which is a platform.
Yeah.
I know
Rally.
We initially got accepted. Going through the due diligence of Rally is very difficult because you have to be approved. First, you have to be approved by Rally, then you have to be approved by the Creator Council, which is all other Rally creators voting you in, and then they have to check us all out individually because there's 3 of us, and they check the company out. They do a lot of checks because obviously they're putting their flag in the ground and going, we're supporting these guys and allowing you to use our platform. So there's a lot of KYC and due diligence. So we started that process late last year. We then got into the journey and said, do you know what? I probably got a bit too big for my boots. I said, we're not going to do it with Rally. We'll do it on our own. We'll create our own currency and we'll create our own tokenomics and we'll do it on our own. And then we started looking into liquidity pools. And because the point with Rally is, and this is where our maturity in learning has gone. We were looking at it like, do a coin, launch your own coin and raise money. And that money we can cash out on, and then we can help grow the Winners Club and build a product or service.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that because the way, as you know, the way everyone thinks it works like that, but it doesn't. If you do that, you're just as bad as everybody else, and you're taking all of the value out of the community, and you're swanning off to the sunset, pumping and dumping. So we was like, well, the reason for not using Rally was that we was gonna, if we'd done it ourselves, we would get access to the liquidity and we could use that to our own advantage, but we couldn't. We'd have to create our own liquidity pool for it to be traded on exchanges. Yeah. So it's like that. It's a juggling act of going, well, so in the end we reverted. We went through that whole journey, which is unplayed and unpicked on the podcast, and then we've gone back to Rally. So we
also had a bigger roadmap, didn't we, at one point, where we needed to be able to...
We tried to overcomplicate it.
To be able to build an agency offering for other small business owners. And we're like, why don't we just simplify this, get it up and running, and then it can give control back to the community, and they can turn this into whatever it's going to be, because we are driving it in a direction based on what we think people want, but let them have the control and the governance of what they actually want to turn it into. Because at one point we had a 6,000 quid consultancy session, didn't we, with some expert about turning this into this like mega community thing, and it was going to have different touch points and people could come in for different education programs. There's going to be like real world events and all that. And it was like, Jesus Christ. And we had it mapped out on like a
we sat down and said to ourselves, and I said to these guys, well, James said it to us and then we said it to our guys. We have about every 6 months, we have a really... a difficult moment in our business partnership where we have to sit down.
I try and leave. Every 6 months I try and leave,
and they let you,
and they force me to come back. Ashley's like, I'm just.
They force you.
They force me. They're like,
I don't believe that.
Paul's like, in 5 minutes into this, you just slip and lock the door, and then
he tried to leave, right? And so you've got to be very aware in what we're doing, and this is good to unplay this because it's challenging to build a community, but then to do something different is really challenging and difficult. So we were So he come and sat down. He took a week off work, right? We won't go into his business systems and processes.
I moved house
and the
with
reason,
2 children.
The reason he can't spend any time doing anything else because he hasn't structured his business in the right way. Consider yourself told off. We're going to fix that problem. But he went away for a week and was overworked and underpaid for that week and was massively stressed. Right? We've all been there, and most people are still there and never get out of it. So came back and was like, right, I don't want to be part of what we're doing. I can't give any time to the Winners Club. I don't want to be a part of it. Like I'm just going to go, and I'm not going to let you go. You're not going. Like, don't be ridiculous. You're not going. Let's break the problems down, fix the problems individually, attack them one by one, but you're not going. If you need some time away to run your business, go and have some time away. But that doesn't mean you're leaving because of it, you know, because we've not completed our journey. We don't know what that journey is, but we've not completed it yet. So convinced him to stay, or didn't even convince him, just told him you're not leaving, basically.
And the door got locked.
But it's because we was trying to overcomplicate it. And this is what I said. Would we, in the real world, have come together outside of Clubhouse? Because we was always viewing this, we need to create an education platform, like the masterclass of the business world, the Netflix of the business world. Right? We must create that and give everybody access to information. But we don't know if the community actually want that, first of all. And secondly, we're a community, so there's probably people in that community that can help us achieve that, or would want to share that journey with us or help us do it. And we don't necessarily, we was assuming we've got to take all the workload. We've got to do it all. It's like we've got to give up
the answers.
We've got to sacrifice our businesses to spend time doing this. And this goes back to the question of, would the three of us have come together in the real world, Clubhouse excluded, and said, right, guys, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to spend the next 5-10 years of our life creating the Netflix for business. Would we have come together and all agreed on that point? And the answer was no, we probably wouldn't. Yeah. So let's not let the echo chamber tell us what we need to do. Let's actually revert back to what this is. It's a really, really powerful, strong community of great like-minded individuals that all share a thirst for having access to information and knowledge sharing via social audio, which is what it is. That's what we've created. So let's embrace that and unlock the creativity of the community to drive the Winners Club forward. And that's the beauty of what a lot of people miss with creator coins and social tokens, specifically in the community sense, is we can say, right, we've always had challenges. So take the challenges we spoke about where people were coming into the community and they were probably using us as part of their marketing strategy. We only had a problem with that because we wasn't involved. Yeah. If we're all sharing a common interest, which is we're unified by our own creator coin and social token, and everybody's adhering to the rules, why is there a problem? There shouldn't be a problem. So it solves so many of the challenges. And now we can say, right, okay, we've always said we can't open multiple rooms in the Winners Club because we can't always be there. But really, this community should have rooms running in America overnight. It should have rooms running all over the place. It should be allowed to breathe and grow like that. But we've always said, well, we can't do that. So no, we can't do it. Well, let's let the
coin holders within the community
holders at a certain level have a shared common interest. They're unified by the token. They have skin in the game. Yeah. Let it breathe.
And let them go. What's their commitment to that?
They have to buy the token.
How many?
Not released yet. Will be released soon. I'm not going to say it. I'll say it to you off air. But how
many are you releasing in total?
Oh, so the beauty of Rally, it's unlimited. Okay. So it's a burn token. So basically, what happens is, for those of you who don't know what that means, is there's an unlimited supply. So as founders, we get an amount released to us on minting on the initial mint that vests for 3 years. So we get a total of 5 million. It's public knowledge on Rally, so you'll be able to see it. We get a total of 5 million coins released to us on vesting, of which 50,000 are given to us on day one. And then the rest released to us over 3 years. Okay, so a percentage every month, assuming that the coin continues to grow. If it doesn't grow, we don't get our vesting released. If it grows, we get. So they're incentivizing us as founders to keep our skin in the game for at least 3 years, which is perfect. Then,
while you're talking about this, and do you think we might be talking at a level that's a little bit higher than people would understand, or do you think people understand that level? Because I obviously understand it.
This conversation, probably that step above
the vesting, maybe, maybe, because now we're talking tokenomics.
Okay. So maybe we can just describe that in a way that everyone can understand. And I'm not for 1 minute saying that listeners don't understand this stuff. I think everyone needs to get this, because what you said is so important, not just for winners. It's so important for anybody that has a business. And if they can understand how the dynamics of this work for their own business, they can do so much more with their business. So let's take an example of a coach, because there's a load of those.
Yeah.
You know how much I love a coach. Good morning, coaches. How you doing, coaches? I'm coaching people to buy
Please
cryptocurrency.
be kind.
Have you ever bought cryptocurrency? No, but I coach people on it. Anyway. I can resist. I had to drop that one in there. Sorry, folks. Okay, there's my little dig. I won't have another dig. But if you're a coach and you've got 1,000 clients or 100 clients, whatever it is, they're the people that could be part of your community.
Correct.
Okay? And so this is what people I don't think are getting. You know, being part of the Winners Club community, how am I right now going to benefit as a part of the Winners Club community? I can come in, you know, I can send Ash a message. I've got a free couple of hours tomorrow morning. Do you want me to come and talk to you? And I'll pop in. And obviously, you guys know I ask for nothing from your community. I want nothing at all. Okay, just to be able to, you know, love my voice. I got nobody to talk to. My kids are at university and I don't fly till tonight. What am I going to do with my life? I'm bored.
Spencer's like, are you around in the morning? Can I piss a few people off before I fly back to Dubai?
But obviously lots of people do. So when I want people, and this is what I'm probably trying to find the right words to get people to understand this. If everybody within the winners community buys the coin, okay, they get the opportunity to benefit from the upside of the community.
Yeah, look, we can't. Yes. Yeah, we
No,
can't.
for sure.
It's not the coin's not an investment. Shouldn't be viewed as investment. What creator coins
That's what
are.
Raleigh told us to say.
Is unlocking utility and benefits. So there's benefits to coin holders when you hold coins at a certain level, but here's the upside: is Rally reward everybody. And this is what's good about Rally. Rally reward token holders with rewards. So if more people are holding the Winners Club token because the utility is so good and the benefits so good and the community's growing, then the rewards are growing and everybody's rewarded.
But everybody has to contribute to the community.
Correct.
For it to grow.
Yes.
So
Correct.
everyone within the Winners Club, okay, has to put their 2 penny worth in, make a contribution, make an investment of time, energy, effort, okay, to either to help grow the audience or to bring value to the audience, etc., etc., etc. So everybody's got to play their part,
Yes.
and then everybody can win.
And
Yes.
the other thing is, we was always arguing about the direction. Now we can actually...
Well, so we're doing 2 things. So we're doing the creator coin, and which is but it's a combination. So we're doing the creator coin and then token holders above a certain level, which is going to become apparent. The reason I'm not saying it, because what happens is there's a convoluted way in which Rally, there's nuances in the Rally launch process. So it's a manual process from Rally. We can't update the page until the coin goes live. And that's why there's not really, but we've been doing pre-launch and been talking about it for months. So at some point we'll say, guys, our coin token's live. Here's the benefits. Away you go. And it's not, doesn't need to be sold in 2 weeks. It's a long game, isn't it? That's the beauty of this.
Yeah,
But we're doing the token holders above a certain level get a governance token in the Winners Club DAO. And the Winners Club DAO is going to be the decision-making engine for what goes on. So token holders above a certain level can put proposals into the DAO, and then token holders at the level below that will vote on those proposals. So we're basically going, do you know what, guys? It's your community as well as our community. Let's see where this can go. And let's all unlock the creativity together and do it together.
I get it. I think a lot of people won't, but I do get it. Let's use another example, because we've got EMC coming up.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Matt the other day. I'm like, how many tickets you sold? And he's telling me the numbers. I won't share that with everybody, but he was telling me the numbers and he was really pleased with how everything was going, yeah? And when I spoke to him last year at EMC, I'm like, I want 2,000 people next year. And he was looking at me going, you're mad. What are you thinking about that kind of number for? I said, 2,000 people, mate. You can get 2,000 people to come. Anyway, got him in that kind of like a bit of a headspace for a little while about that. Now, resisted me or not. But I'm like, have you made the tickets NFTs?
Brilliant idea.
And he's like, what? And I'm like, make them an NFT, sell NFTs, create NFTs for EMC. That to me is the only way that should be played. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but there becomes a point, and I have reached this. So there's a point in which, and I don't know whether it's amount of consumption where you switch into that mode. And I was, so for months, if you look at my 8 months of learning, these guys have witnessed this. It's like anti-crypto, anti-NFT, not anti-NFT, not anti-crypto, anti-DAO, now I love a DAO. And then all of a sudden there's like a tipping point where you go, I get it. I absolutely get it. It's like, yeah, it's clear to see. And I think this is the issue, is that most people can't get past that barrier of the negative news stories, the stuff that you see about crypto, the headlines about crypto, and the headlines about the metaverse and all this stuff. It sort of disguises what businesses can really do with that NFTs, social tokens, whatever you call them. And so I reached a tipping point. I was like, I really get it. And, you know, for instance, we're doing with Josh Riddit, who you know, we're doing a crypto mine here in the basement. We've got 5,000 square foot of space downstairs. Okay, we can actually fit 250 of Josh's crypto machines. Right, so in financial terms, that's big numbers. Firstly, it's big numbers on the investment to buy them, but it's also really big numbers on the generation of crypto assets on a monthly basis. And it's fact, it has to happen. This is what people don't understand about the blockchain. It's not a question of when you get given those assets. You put computer power to a blockchain, you get rewarded in the native currency. So it has to happen. And then there's this whole concept of proof of work and proof of stake. Well, guess what? When you have enough Ethereum, you can become a validator for Ethereum, and then you get paid to be a validator in Ethereum. So it makes sense. So effectively, we're creating a crypto farm downstairs. Now, in my old world, with my old business hat on, I'm going to venture capitalists, I'm going to high net worth individuals, and I'm trying to raise 2.5 million quid to go and buy these machines. And then you're talking to guys who don't quite understand it, and they're going, really? What's this? Like, what's this machine? You know, so you've got other barriers to come across. Yeah. In the new world, we can go, do you know what? We're creating a crypto mining community. There's 10,000 NFTs for sale. Each NFT gets a proportion of the rewards that are generated from the crypto mining farm. Well, that's a completely different proposition now. Now the barrier to entry is a lot lower. What you're really doing is you're fractionalizing all of the assets.
Crowdfunding.
You're crowdfunding, you're fractionalizing the assets, but you're doing it around the community of people that are interested in crypto and interested in mining.
Do you know what? This is fantastic.
And it's automated settlement, because you have a treasury where all of the crypto mining farm rewards go into, and the smart contract, depending on people's holding, pays that out at an automated point in time to everybody's individual wallets based on them holding the NFT. So it removes all of the admin. There's no admin needed. It cuts down all of that stuff. And it's an automated process. That's brilliant business.
Fantastic business. You got me thinking as soon as you said that. Okay, have you ever heard of a company called Picasso? Pacaso.com, launched 2 years ago.
No.
Okay, so they did some research into people buying second homes, holiday homes, about how much time they actually use the holiday home for. So in the States, people on average use their holiday homes for 33 days a year. The rest of the time they're empty. And so they're a hassle, you've got maintenance and drama and whatnot that goes with it. So what they did is they set a business up where they allowed people to buy an 1/8 share in a property or a 10th share in a property.
Like timeshare?
No. Timeshare, you never own anything. Okay? So let's say...
fractionalised
So they fractionalised luxury home ownership. Yeah. So let's say we've all got a budget of $500,000, okay, to buy a property. But we want the Miami pad, the $5 million property. Yeah. But we know we're only going to spend, a month a year there anyway, yeah? So we buy a share in that. So there's 8 of us that buy a share in it. Or 10, let's keep it 10. Okay, 500,000, $5 million property. We all invest $500,000, okay? We get a mortgage, so we've only actually got to put $150,000 in. And we own a $5 million property.
Are we doing this, by the way?
Hold on. You think about this for a second, yeah? Think about all of your holidays. First of all, okay, how much time do you go on holiday for, max? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, 2 weeks, if that, yeah? Even with your family. Okay, you go and stay in a hotel. It costs money. You fractionalise buying the house. You still get the capital appreciation of the property. You can get a mortgage on it. Every time, so when you go there, they take out my pictures and stuff on the windowsills. They put yours and your family's pictures on the windowsills. When you go there, your family's there. Okay, yeah. It's fully serviced, fully managed, fractional ownership of property, yeah, but luxury property. Here's the kicker. Picasso was established 2 years ago. SoftBank have just invested another $175 million. They're worth $1.5 billion after 2 years. Because they tapped into the data around the behaviour of people with their second homes. Now, I've owned a second home, Portugal, America, Cyprus and stuff over the years, and whenever there's been a problem, It's been like, oh, shit, I'm getting on a plane, aren't I?
Yeah.
Because the builder's a twat or whatever it might be, you know, something's got wrong. So when you look at the fractionalization of this kind of stuff that exists out there, I find it fascinating. Now, you know that agri-tech stuff.
Yes.
Every plant is going to be an NFT.
Yeah, brilliant.
Every plant, okay, is going to be an NFT. Every space on every shelf is going to be an NFT because sometimes the plants die, so they've got to replace the plant. But then you own that part of the shelf that has that strawberry plant or tomato plant on, and forever you will get a cut of the profit of the NFT. So you're making money out of your essentially your.
It's an allotment basically. It's self-run.
I love the way you describe it. Never truer from a man from Benfleet who has his own allotment in Canvey Island.
No, from your neck of the woods in Rayleigh.
But this is the intersection of good business and NFTs coming together, because you touched on it at the start. Artwork for art's sake, just for an NFT. There's no benefit to the community in that. Yes, you might get some hype and you might get some parties that take place on a super yacht. And if you're into that type of thing, brilliant. Mm-hmm. But then potentially there's no sustainability in it, because at some point that's going to run out. It's going to get boring.
Like a nightclub.
Yeah. Whereas NFTs that produce a reward for you, like what you're talking about with smart farming, like what we're trying to attempt to do here with the crypto mine. Mm-hmm. You hold that NFT, you're going to get a percentage of rewards forever, as long as you own it.
Yeah,
forever.
That's right.
As long as it keeps going.
That's right. And then that now becomes an investment plus an education plus an area of interest plus a community. Okay, you've just got so much going for you. I completely agree with that.
Interesting times in the world of Web3, indeed.
The other thing we're going to do, talking about events, so we get asked all the time, could you do a Winners Club event? And we've done one ourselves, but can you do a Winners Club event? Can you do this? Can you do stuff? And we know from the community that a lot of people want meetups and networking and local events. So we're going to basically say, a bit like TEDx, we're going to say, right, okay, token holders above a certain level can run a Winners Club event. And
absolutely. That's exactly the same as what Gary's doing, isn't it?
Here's our guidelines. Here's our guidelines. Here's do's and don'ts. Mm-hmm. Here's some basic onboarding that you're going to have to go through. And then, you can run a regular Winners Club meetup if you want for your community or your part of the community locally. You can be a local champion for the Winners Club and run a Winners Club event.
Yeah, like a TEDx local thing, yeah.
And you've got skin in the game, and everybody that attends has to be a minimum token ownership or token level to attend. So now you're really unlocking that. So the
interesting thing, what you're going to have to do, because there'll be people that want to be part of it, you're going to have to teach them how to buy it.
Yeah, well, the Rally.io, which is the platform for doing it, makes it easy because people can do it with a debit card. So what Rally have done really, really well is they've literally, you just go in with create a username and password like creating a normal account. Yeah. You put a debit card in, you buy our token. In order to swap that out, that's where it gets a bit complex. So if you want to cash in on that to some extent, you've got to bridge out and you've got to do that. So we're creating our own sort of support videos that are going to be within our members area to guide people through that process, because there is a little bit of anything in crypto, it's easier to learn a foreign language than it is to move crypto assets around.
Man, the amount of people that give up at verification.
Yeah,
let alone I've got to take a photograph of my face and holding my passport and stuff like that. Oh, that's too complicated. Yeah, that happens a lot. And there's people that have got money on crypto accounts that don't know how to get access to it, even with simple stuff like USDT.
Well, about 5 years ago, my mate sent me some money, and this was when Bitcoin was at like £3,500. He was like, I don't know what it is. Open the wallet, I'm going to send you some money. But I never thought nothing of it, and don't know how to get it. Never thought. He was like, open this. He was like, it's this new
and you're working with NatWest.
they ain't in that's one thing as well that they don't want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, of course they don't.
What money?
No, crypto.
Oh, crypto.
Yeah, they won't like it.
And I'm glad, because I've got the answers. But
people buy houses with crypto now.
Yeah.
You know people are doing that in Dubai. Any house you want to buy, you can buy with crypto.
I know of three projects that are working very hard to try and solve the riddle, which is proper tokenization of real estate, and property. So in the form of all of your due diligence is done in advance, the asset is tokenized, and then in theory the sale can happen instantly, or as quick as the blockchain can process it, which is 7 or 8 minutes or whatever it is. It's depending on what blockchain it's used on. So that due diligence is done. Everything's there and visible to see on the blockchain, and it can be transferred quite quickly. So that is, like you say, that fast forward 5 years, or it may not be 5 years, maybe quicker than that, but fast forward, everything we have will be an NFT of some version.
If
your driving license, your passport, your logbook of your car, it just solves so many of those problems.
Just anybody that's listening right now, please don't be dumb. Like, please learn about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, don't fight it. Don't resist it. Don't be cynical. Don't be, I'm not cynical. I'm a realist. Don't be one of those
I did that.
twonks.
Yeah.
Just honestly, you need to learn. It's like so important to your future, your family's future, your business future, the future of you just existing on this blooming planet. You've got to embrace it. And I know it's hard. And I know when I picked up the FT for the first time in 1993, I couldn't even fold it. But I made a commitment to learn, and you've got to make this commitment to learn, because what it does when it teaches you about it, all of a sudden your mind goes, I can do that. Oh, yeah. I never thought about that. I can do that. What, with my business, I could do, and this can happen and that can happen. God, why isn't everyone doing it? Because when you get to that place, like Paul spoke about, that tipping point, all of a sudden it's like, why would you do anything else?
Yeah.
Why would you use anything else? Doesn't make any sense. So please learn.
Dr. Elizabeth actually has said something quite. She's basically put that. Does the creation of the social token, does it affect the dynamics of the community? So does it basically exclude people that can't invest? Well, it doesn't actually. To some extent, yes, but equally, it doesn't change from where we are now. At the moment, we have a centralised, whether we like it or not, we have a centralised community that relies on the three of us here in this room to make the decisions. That's pretty much what it is. So, and we might not always get it right, and we haven't got it right over the past 18 months or 15 months, however it's long. We've often got it wrong. But the community relies on us to be driven by us and be steered by us. The beauty of our own coin and currency within the Winners Club is that it allows those that want to participate in the decision making to participate in the decision making. So at the moment, those that can't afford to invest have no voice in the decision making anyway. Yes, they can be part of the community. Yes, they can still come and listen to Clubhouse, and that nothing in that respect is going to change. People can still be part of the community and listen, but the future direction of that, the live events, the meetings that might happen, the type of content we create moving forward, the sort of people that will be hosting additional Winners Club rooms, all of those decisions can be approved by people that are token holders at a certain level, i.e. they have skin in the game. The reason the three of us are decision makers is because we have skin in the game. Now we're just opening up that circle to a lot more people.
I find that fascinating now that there's this situation that people think it won't be fair if some people can do more than others. Yeah. Hello, that's life. Hello. Okay. The guys here that we're sitting in the studio, I drove 30 minutes to be here. These guys come here every single day. Have invested a load of money and a load of time in building something. And anybody that decides that they want to invest more than others, or they want to invest an amount of money that the community believes is the right amount, should have a voice. If you just want to pop in and take advantage of something for free, and your excuse, argument, or opinion is, oh, well, I don't have any money, I can't buy those coins anyway, well, that's life.
Elizabeth, actually, you've said in the chat, can you come in quickly? You're more than welcome, because it was your question. So, yeah, go for it.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I think, and I think was it Spencer that just spoke, I think, well, that's life, but I think, and not to put you guys on the spot at all, but I think because you are creating a community and because of the direction of how you are introducing this token, is because you want to grow the community. And I think one of the options absolutely is, as you described it, people who have a higher investment will have the opportunity to be able to open up rooms, like you said, or bring in proposals. But I think in the spirit of that community, how will those people who, as Spencer said, money genuinely is a barrier. So I suppose the question is, how else will you see people who can give value to a community that money or investment is not the only way? So I totally agree with, I don't think we're saying about the three men who started the group. I think the point is, what will stop an external party coming in just because they've been able to invest, and so therefore having that level of power and influence? And I think that's just the question. And sorry, just one last thing. There are ways to do it. There are ways to do it. So maybe it's just about having other options of how other people can also be a part of it and influence it. That's it.
So in terms of their other ways, I'd love to hear them, because we've struggled for a long time and it's very difficult. But I'll tell you what we are doing. So token, so people can earn tokens. So the beauty of a creator coin and creating your own economy is that you can reward people for their contribution. So as well as people can be a token holder and then have a say in the governance and the decision making, well, and like we said, that person probably wouldn't have a say in the governance and the decision making anyway, but now they can, for contribution, for the amount of times they show up, because we can see the data. So we're bringing out a reward system, so where the more people, you know, the top 100 people, for instance, that listen to Winners Club rooms will be rewarded in creator coins, in our social tokens. So just showing up, people are going to be rewarded for just showing up. We're going to start a blog, a business blog or a content blog on the Winners Club website for writing blog articles that people submit to us. People will be rewarded in our own creator coin. So for contributions that people make to the Winners Club, they'll be rewarded. Now, they don't have to have a say in the governance, but you could now see a world where somebody could potentially show up on a regular basis and earn the Winners Club coin, and eventually get to a point where they may be able to have a say in the governance and the decision making because they're a regular contributor and because they've showed up. So actually, it is an open and level playing field. Yes, somebody can come and invest and have the ability to make a decision, but actually the structure of the DAO, the way the governance and the voting and the proposal system is set up, it's well thought out to make sure that no one individual can gain control of that. So yes, proposal holders, people can make proposals when they get to a certain level. But that's like any board, isn't it? You know, somebody can propose something, can table something to a board. If you had a board of directors, not everybody can make a proposal, but certain people can. So it's the same structure, but it's transparent, and it's allowing people to get in on that conversation if they want to get in on that conversation, or just becoming a contributor if they want to just become a contributor. You know, if somebody's spending a lot of time here and they are seeing it as their marketing platform to some extent, and they really value the community, they can now take a stake in that. You know, hold a chunk of the creator coin, and be in a situation where they can have a say in the governance and the decision making. So it actually just it solves a lot of the issues. So we are aware of that, which is why we've brought in a reward system for people to be compensated for their attendance and for their contribution to what we're doing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I think just one thing, like I said, like you said, there are many boards that operate like that, but then a lot of those boards exclude different swathes of the community, and we're trying to improve that. So I think that's just something for you just to think of. But I like what you described in terms of rewarding people for involvement and engagement.
The other thing we're doing, which we spoke about before, but we've created a foundation. So the Winners Club Foundation, a percentage of all rewards that are earned are going to go to the Winners Club Foundation, and equally people can buy a coin and donate it to the Winners Club Foundation. So the foundation earns rewards, and then the governance structure of the Winners Club can vote on where those rewards, or where the foundation distributes those rewards in, and that can be in terms of extra grants to people within the community, to support for people in the community, for, you know, mentorship or payment of other services, or help or support to other people in the community, and the governance members can vote on that and make that decision. So that's another part of it. But all of this will be made available to everybody to see the full sort of plan and the roadmap of what we're doing over the next couple of days, once everything becomes live on Rally's system. So in readiness for it, what people can do is go and create an account at rally.io and have that ready. And once you've got an account set up, you can do that. Because actually, you know, the levels that we're talking about, if people do this, and this is the beauty of this, right? With the creator coin, we're all saying about a huge investment for people to get involved. At the very early point and days, it's not a huge investment. You know, the creator coin launches at a percentage, 1% of Rally. So we're talking cents. Each coin is cents at the point of when it launches. Now, there's nothing to say that doesn't increase in value over time, that coin, and how quickly that happens, not even we can control. So we don't know that. But the levels of investment that we're talking about for people to hold coin at a certain level is at the very early days of launch of our token, a very low barrier to entry. Yes, over time that could be representative in dollars at a lot more, you know, a lot higher amount. But when we say, right, okay, the token's launching and here it is, this is what the benefits are to people for holding X amount of Winners Club coin, it's a very, very low barrier to entry to start with. Very low barrier to entry. What was you showing me, Ashley?
I know, it's just a few comments in the back channel. What was...
Can I speak, Paul? Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
Oh, yes. Can I use Bitcoin to buy fish and chip?
Yes.
In England, I love to eat fish and chip.
I love fish and chips too.
I'm sure somebody would take it from you.
Yeah, can I use the Bitcoin to eat to buy fish and chip? Except
Brilliant.
Yeah, look, a few people are messaging about the thresholds and what level of tokens do you need to hold. Again, we'll make all that clear. We'll make all that clear to people. But it's the earlier people get involved in the community, the lower that barrier to entry is, and actually quite low. Obviously, if people sit on the fence and do it later, then the barrier to entry becomes higher, because we have, the more people get involved in the community, the more the community value grows, and that's representative in the coin value and the coin price of what people buy it for. So those barrier to entries will be relatively small at a very early stage. So just give us a day or so to have the proposals. They're written out, they're all done, the structure of the DAO is sorted. It's just being put into a user interface that people can see and view it, i.e. a website, and as soon as that's out there, the world will be able to see it. But people are right. It is exciting times, because it solves so many of our bloody problems. That's the beauty of it. And actually, the point to realise about all of this, and going back to what Spencer said, we are the vesting. What that actually means, because somebody's mentioned about vested. What that means is as founders of the community, we get an allocation of coins that are ours on creation of our coin. What happens is those are locked into the economy of the community for 3 years and only released to us over time. So effectively, it's ensuring longevity, and that we're still around. We're here for the long term, and here we can't just basically create the economy and then walk away and take everybody's funds. Doesn't really work like that.
Just a quick one. I got a quick question for you, Paul?
Go for it.
Can I buy fish and chips with Bitcoin?
Brilliant. I love that. There's probably somebody that does take it.
No, but you can get a large doner kebab with chili sauce.
Yeah. I can buy you fish and chips. That's the story of the guy that bought it in San Francisco, wasn't it? In Silicon Valley, the guy bought
10,000.
He went on a Bitcoin forum.
The pizza.
Yeah, he went on a Bitcoin forum and said, "I need a pizza. This is my address." Somebody who phoned up and paid for a pizza with a debit card and said to him, "Send me your Bitcoin."
Yeah. But I think there was one story where it was like quite a few Bitcoins that he done that equated to like 10 million in today's money.
for the pizza? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was two pizzas actually, not one.
And then he was like, "Are you bothered?" And he was acting like he weren't bothered. Like, you've even got to do some serious help to get over that scenario.
Our unveil of it's not really an unveil, but our talk about our creator coin has caused some questions. So we'll take some questions actually, because I think a couple of people have said I've got questions. So give me a flash of microphones if you have a question. Iffy, going to come to you, then to Sharon. They're the two I can see so far. So we'll go Iffy, then Sharon. Good morning, Iffy.
Good morning. Oh, thank you for coming to me first, because I'm about to lose signal. Normally, when I see the word crypto on a Wednesday, I come in and go, nah. I literally think, nah. It's not.
Cheers, Iffy.
I'm like, oh. But today I was
Stunning review there.
Thanks, Iffy.
yeah, but, there's a point to my. So I'm like, it's going to be like a real kind of brain shift for me. I know I'm going to have to lock in out of a lane of where I'm thinking. So I thought I'll come in, and this conversation has been brilliant. And Spencer, you said, that little statement that you said about "come on now," it really hit me, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to have to do this, because I like to think of myself as open-minded, but I did have like a block, meaning I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to get focused, I'm going to stay on that. But that Picasso thing you mentioned really made me think, I wonder how many other things are around the corner that could be put together that people need. And then, so anyway, my question is, what you said, Spencer, really hit me, and where would I start? Like, do you think I should take a day and just have a brainstorming day of thinking?
Okay,
Or
Iffy, that's really a bad question because these two are going to go, listen to my podcast.
You can answer it. I won't say a word.
Or you can
You should listen to a podcast. Right?
Or you can have one-to-one session with me.
Christ, that's good value.
She will leave more confused than when she walked in.
I know it's a coin and it's like crypto stuff.
Iffy, you know, I know you, and so what you have to remember is how you learn, not about where you start. It's somebody can tell you different things and different places to go, but it's how you decide to learn. So first of all, are you going to listen? Are you going to watch a video? Are you going to read a book? That's important to understand. You know, if you teach me something or audio, I don't learn it. But if you get a whiteboard and draw me a picture, I get it straight away. So that's the first thing. That once you've done that, you decided that, then you've got to go and find the content that can solve that learning issue for you. For example, if I listen to a podcast sat still, it doesn't go in. If I listen to a podcast while walking, everything goes in. So what's right for you? Then go and find different forms, because there's so much content out there. There literally is so much content out there that you've got to find people whose voices resonate with you. And so if Paul's voice doesn't resonate with you, which of course it does with everybody, then find a voice that does. So don't sit there and say to yourself, how would I go and start? Whenever I want to learn something, first thing I do is I go on YouTube and I type in that subject for dummies. I just literally type in that subject for dummies, whatever the subject is, how to put a fuse in a plug for dummies. And okay, so then that gives me a myriad of different options, and I just start watching short videos. If the videos are 15 minutes long, I'm like, no, sod that. Okay, I go for 5-minute videos. And then I choose the animated ones over the person on camera, but that's me. So find out what works for you is my honest opinion, Efi.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And just to clarify, I do like Paul's voice.
Didn't sound like it today.
Just not on a Wednesday.
Normally I say crypto, but...
It was not that at all. You're right, what you said, Spencer. And I thought in this case, I won't learn it by audio, any of that. I think I need to go to like a masterclass, like a room with somebody, like a lesson. And I think I need that, because everything else I've looked at is inaccessible for my brain at the moment, because it's such a complex concept, and it's a concept that is like, being autistic, the way I conceptualize things, I can't even see what we're talking about right now. So I'm going to find my way to learn it. So great advice. And then
maybe do a room at EMC.
Yeah, well, you're coming next. You want to come next Wednesday, don't you, Iffy? Was you thinking of coming next Wednesday?
Yes. Oh yes, to the I messaged you for my ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be good. We're doing a so this Wednesday crypto room. We're doing live. There's an NFT dedicated NFT gallery opened in around Liverpool Street called Qantas Gallery, which just displays NFTs. So we're doing a live show with a live studio audience from their gallery on next Wednesday.
Okay, cool.
On the 11th. So that would be a good start. But yeah, maybe you're right. And it's a very important point. We've got a note to self on this as well. The further we learn about crypto, the more complex the language becomes. You've got to check yourself and not fall into the trap of talking at such a high level of complexity that everyone just switches off and goes.
Because we think that we're not, but when your level of learning goes up, your baseline level of knowledge increases each time, doesn't it? Yeah.
That way, translate to me, and then I can talk to the rest of the world.
Go to ashleyshipman.com/crypto event.
Ashley's just trying to work out if you can turn white gold into an NFT. How can I sell?
I've just NFT'd my UPVC windows.
Yeah, that's that.
Well, I'm trying to think what the next bit of white gold is.
For those of you who don't know what white gold is, it's double glazing, by the way.
Oh man!
Did you ever do double glazing?
You didn't see white gold.
I missed it. I missed the boom of white gold.
Did you do double glazing?
I did when I was at college. When I was 16, I did 3 nights a week, 6 till 9 p.m. in a Telly's house in Chelmsford. I don't know who it was, Mr. Wishball's Windows and Doors or Everest or somebody, yeah. And from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m, we used to have to call numbers in the Yellow Pages or the telephone directory, and there was about 60 of us. And all about 55 of us did was sat on chat rooms talking to each other with headsets on, hating our lives. So that was my foray into the double glazing industry.
You know, I miss.
But that was all based in Corringham and stuff, isn't it?
It's Basden. It's Basden, definitely.
That's where you're from. You literally are.
Corringham, that's a nice place.
It's like Pitsy, isn't it? What a dump.
No offence if you live in Pitsy, by the way.
Well, you should move.
Yeah. No.
Paul.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
It was Sharon. Sharon, you was next. Sorry, yeah, you was next, Sharon. Go, kind of come to you. Go for
I'm
it.
literally about to jump into the car, so
No,
I love Sharon.
yeah. Oh, thanks, man. I love you too.
No.
Sorry to the man who's interrupting. We flash here,
Sharp.
Sharp. The question that I had, I just want you to make it super simple for me. Say, for example, I start saying you can pay me in crypto for my business. How do I make that pay the bills? That's all I need to know.
Right. Okay. So you have to. So I'll tell you what I'm doing here in my office space, because it is similar to that. Firstly, the percentage of people that are going to pay you in crypto is very small at the moment, because we're all even as we're talking about it and making jokes about education and learning about it, we're still very, very new to all of this, and it's still very young. Okay, so the percentage of people that are going to pay you in crypto is very small. So I said, right, okay, people can pay me for my office space here in crypto if they want, every month. So I've given them when they get their invoice sent out to them, they get a link and they can set up a payment to pay us in crypto, and it converts I use something called BitPay, which is a payment gateway, and it converts it down to a cryptocurrency and shows the amount of I think 5 different currencies that I'll accept. My strategy behind that is that what you're actually getting, because take away the need to earn that money straight away, you're being paid in an asset that's going to appreciate a hell of a lot more than £1 sterling. So if somebody pays you in Ethereum or in Bitcoin or whatever you want to take, as a business, you would be, my strategy here is I'm not touching that, I'm holding that. That's sitting in a separate wallet and it's being held, and it's just an asset of the business that's being held. Okay. And that's going to potentially compound and go up over time. Now, if you did need to take that, then there are options within a lot of the payment providers to just cash out and receive that in pound sterling. But what you've got to realize is the spread is what they're taking, what the payment provider's taking. So the getting too deep down the rabbit hole in terms of how bid and ask prices and how financial markets work, but the spread between what they're giving you as the rate and what the rate really is in the market out there, the difference in between the payment provider's making. So if you cash out, you're not potentially getting the maximum value of that asset, but it's still facilitating a payment, if that makes sense, and you're still able to cash out and turn that into actual real money. So you could offer for somebody to pay you in Bitcoin, for instance, and then behind the scenes, the payment provider is converting that back into whatever currency you want and giving it to you into a UK bank account. That can very easily be set up to happen. Or you can say, I only want to take a certain percentage of it, and the rest I'm going to leave locked in my wallet and let that appreciate over time or potentially go up in value, or I'm going to swap that out for different crypto assets of different types and do different things with it and have a different investment strategy. So it means being a lot more switched on and advanced with the financial thinking and the financial outlook for your business, other than just being restricted to, well, it's pound sterling, I've got a UK bank account, pay me in my UK bank account. So it's just having a strategy behind it before you do it. But it's very easy to cash out of being paid in crypto and then cashing out in it. The payment providers allow you to do it.
Paul, so what you could actually do, sorry, Amy, before you do, sorry, I just got to jump in the car. Can I just ask, so what you could actually do, if you want to start investing in crypto, but you still need to make life easy for yourself, you could say, okay, I'll take half of the payment in crypto and I'll take the other half in fiat currency. Is that right?
But that makes it, you want to make it easy for the person that's paying you. So I would, if I was in that situation, I would take all of the payment in cryptocurrency, and then I would swap some of that cryptocurrency for fiat currency in the background so that you're still achieving the same thing, but you're making the customer journey a lot less painless, because otherwise they've got to now make 2 payments to you. They've got to make a crypto payment to you and then a pound sterling payment to you. So you'd still achieve the same goal, but you'd manage it yourself behind the scenes.
Is that Sharon?
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, it is Sharon.
Go for it, Amy.
Before you race away. Hi, how are you?
Yeah,
Good morning,
good.
everyone. I've been busy running around listening to everything. It's been quite entertaining. Sharon, there is a way. I've been a member of BitPay since it began, and actually, I don't even know if you're aware of this. Inside the administration of the back end of BitPay, for example, because that's one of the 2 organizations that I would recommend or suggest to look at if you're a business that wants to start accepting crypto and you're not that technical, okay? They are a very easy onboarding. That's one of the easier ones. Inside the back end of the payment dashboard, the administration dashboard of BitPay, there is the way to split the percentage of what you want to receive that does not interfere with the client. It actually is on the administrative side, so it's opaque to the client. And another one that I would, so just a bit clear, double check when you go in the back end administration of your BitPay portal, Paul or whomever was just, I think it was Paul. I can't remember the names, the voices blend with the names. But if you go back to the administration, there is a part when you set it up that you actually could set that distribution between 50-50, 25-75, whatever it is, between the amount that goes to the bank, and they will actually do the conversion for you based on that percentage that you put in, which is what Sharon just asked about. Another one I'd recommend is Coinbase Commerce, because it doesn't do the automated of the withdrawal, and it makes it more sovereign, because then you have the power to take that out when you want to. Not that it dictates when you need to withdraw it, or that it cashes it out maybe too prematurely, and then you don't get the full-fledged benefits of that asset as this was explained. And I'm coming from a technical consultant and a coaching and an education perspective. So you got to interlock it all together. And Iffy, I left you a lovely message in the back. I wanted to acknowledge you for being so transparent and vulnerable, for how you shared about your learning journey. Keep on going. You'll find the right learning style for you. But when it comes to an organization setting themselves up, if you're an entrepreneur, I've always recommended to the folks I've worked with BitPay from 4 or 5 years ago, and Coinbase Commerce as well, because it's easy to onboard people. And it seamlessly integrates with Squarespace and WordPress and Wix. So those of you that are kind of doing this grassroots websites yourself, BitPay is Coinbase is a nice piece. It's easy to implement. BitPay is the functionality is a little bit more deeper. And then there is another one that's come out new that's also pretty badass. But the things you want to look for in those platforms is exactly as Paul was just stating, what percentage they're going to take from you for that service to make it easier for you to engage, to accept crypto for your business. That would be the main question that you'd want to start with for yourself, in my opinion.
Just on Coinbase, because I've tried to do this recently. For some reason, I don't know why, they've stopped onboarding people from the UK temporarily. I don't know if it's something to do with pending regulations that's coming in, but I got
Could be.
Yeah, I got an email back basically a couple of weeks ago just saying we can't.
Was it for Commerce? Was it for Commerce, or was it for the actual account?
No, Coinbase Commerce. So Coinbase accounts are fine, yeah, and so, but it was just Coinbase Commerce. I've got an email back from somebody in their onboarding team just saying we can't onboard you at this moment. We'll let you know when it's possible. So, and I asked the question: is that geographical?
Have you tried doing that as a personal? Have you tried doing it as a personal, Paul?
I haven't tried doing it as personal. It was trying it as a business.
Doing it as a personal, like a Coinbase Commerce, like sole trader account, like that you're an independent sole trader.
Yeah.
Try doing it that way and see if it works for you. Just giving a suggestion.
Yeah.
Because it may be the value and it sounds to me like you're all very up there in the quantity of the volume that would be coming in, which would require more fine-tooth comb, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Maybe see if it works.
I'll give it a go. There was somebody else talking in the background, just as a quick, and it's great because the more people shout and interject, it means the more new people are coming into the room, which is great because it shows the community is growing. But we'll have to do a good job of reminding people. We have to have a flash of microphones in this room to try and keep. We're British. We like to keep some order.
Decorum, people.
Yeah.
We're British, apart from Ashley. There's none of the
Essex.
I'm Essex.
We're not sure where he's from.
It's the Gypsy
Not from
King's
this world.
love child.
Michelle, good morning to you. I can see you flashing. Go for it.
Morning, guys. Really, really interesting conversation and insights this morning. So there's a guy in the chat, Luke, who's referenced gamification frameworks and the movement of money, of crypto. So I'm just wondering if we could get him to explain, or if you guys can explain that a bit more.
Is he in the chat or is he on the stage, Luke? Do we know if he's on the stage or?
He's got no account linked up, so we won't be bringing Luke up for that.
Okay, well,
at the moment.
everybody knows about it.
If I could help answer that a little bit, I'm happy to jump in and give some perspective.
Yeah, go for
in
it.
terms of gamification. It's also great because, Paul, you just spoke about Coinbase. Let's stay with Coinbase for a moment. When you open up an account with Coinbase, it gamifies you learning and earning crypto as you learn about the blockchains like Ethereum, Stellar Lumen, Bitcoin. So it actually is gamifying your learning the space by rewarding you. And in the United States, we have...
Sorry, I just need to rewind a bit because the word gamification for me, and this might be the same for other parents, is like my kids are online all the time, gamifying, buying skins or whatever they're doing on, whatever those platforms are.
Roblox. Let's keep it to Roblox because I know a lot of kids use Roblox that my friends have.
Yeah, so I just want just unpack gamification in business terms for adults rather than me thinking 15-year-old online with his mates.
Okay, I'll make it very yip and yannick, as we say here in Holland. It's the process of making a very difficult topic easy to understand through visualizing it, animating it, keeping it short and succinct, and engaging different type of learners. There's a gentleman that was just saying that he's a visual learner, and there's 7 types of learners. I mean, I've been an adjunct professor in business and tech in New York. There's 7 types of learners. So, Sharon, what you're describing is basically what the definition for Yip and Yannick of gamification is making the experience something that keeps you engaged. And every person learns, there's 7 different types of learning styles. So what may be gamified for, quote unquote, gamified for you, Sharon, may not be gamified enough for me based on how our brains operate. So for an adult to understand the gamification component, it's exactly what Paul was talking about by creating reward system when one of his members does something or wants to host a room or does a great talk, or that's in essence what it means to gamify, because you're making it, you're incentivizing someone to do something. And that
so
incentivization...
It's the opportunities that this platform offers. Is that what gamification is?
No.
Rewarding the shell. So take the winners. What we're doing here with the Winners Club, we're basically going to say, I'll give you an example. People that have attended X amount of Winners Club rooms over a calendar period of time get rewarded X amount of the Winners Club coin. So that in itself is a gamification because it's allowing people, I'll show up and when I hit this milestone, it's a bit like your rewards system that you get in Starbucks or Costa. You buy 6 coffees, you get 1 free. They're gamifying you buying coffees. They're giving you an incentive to come back, and it's the same in the gaming world. So in what with play to earn and even learn to earn, which is a new phrase which is coming out of crypto, instead of just saying, well, come and pay me to learn this subject, you're now, with crypto, you're able to come up with a mechanism like Coinbase is doing, like Amy touched on. Coinbase are able to reward you in currency, in native cryptocurrency, for you giving your time to the platform to learn. And it's the same with play to earn in gaming, in the gaming world. The more people play a certain type of game, the more they're rewarded in the native currency of that game, if that makes sense. So it's just coming up with a reward system.
Paul, you remember I mentioned...
Sorry, Beju, 1 second. Let Michelle finish. Go for it, Michelle. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say thanks. I've got it now. I was just trying to get it really clear, but thank you. Cheers, Ame.
Beju, go for it.
I was just saying, as Michelle knows, she does Sweatcoin. If people know Sweatcoin, it's an app whereby you get rewarded for how you walk. So the more you walk, you get these little sweat coins, which eventually they're going to turn into NFTs and crypto. So you're gamifying walking by getting rewards by doing something you do anyway. But there's an element, there's another layer to it. So game is about playing. So you're playing something, but you play in a certain space. And then depending on the space you play, you get rewards. So in the Winners Club, if you play the game of the Winners Club game, come in, contribute, share, support, blah, 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 the layer above that, also you get rewarded by coins, going to events, etc., etc. Just it's a game you play, and then you get consequence, you get rewards.
Contributionfication. That's what we call it.
So is that a word or is it made up?
Yeah, because if you say the word rewards, it's a bit of a battle for you, isn't it, Paul? Rewards.
Oh my God, you're so un-PC, Spencer.
I don't give a shit.
It's a new Piers Morgan.
It's those people out there going, you can't say this, you
Don't.
can't say
You're really
that.
going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
Spencer.
hold on a minute.
Honestly.
I might have offended your
You're really
non-binary
gonna offend me.
pronoun.
I'm going to have to complain to Ashley.
Are you being a snowflake, Paul?
You are
Don't
such a
say that
snowflake.
word. It's banned from the Winners Club. You know that. We got in trouble last week. Anyway, right.
25 years ago, that meant something else, didn't it?
Who was next? We've got a couple of flash your mics, please, if you want to come in and contribute to the conversation. We've got time for a couple more shares or questions.
Let's fire it up. Let's go.
Can I just add to the gamification? Gamification in crypto usually combines two elements. One is competition and the other is reward. Simple reward isn't technically gamification, it's simple incentivization. Gamification is the element of competing for reward, whether or not there's only one reward or many rewards, but you're competing for it either in time or amount, and then having a reward. So the primary example of gamification was Bitcoin mining. And the way it works is you put for those who don't know, you may all know this, but you have an algorithm that processes the blocks of the Bitcoin blockchain, and all the miners compete to make the algorithm close, be the first person to close that block by finding a missing number that's a random number in this computational algorithm. So you don't actually manually do it. Your computers are just racing each other, and the person who closes it first wins the Bitcoin that's mined. That's the mining process. That is quintessential gamification as crypto people understand it. It actually also exists in places like Robinhood and other areas. And in the US, it's problematic. But it's fine in other areas. And a lot of DeFi is based on this idea of gamification, competing for rewards. That's mostly it.
I think the beauty of where we are with all of this stuff is, and it was exciting as traditional business owners in the traditional sense and coming from a non-crypto world, is, and we've always said this, we have a suite of tools in front of us now that if you learn about them, you can deploy those tools to really do and be whatever you want them to do or be within your business. And most of them, if you attempt to understand them, will solve some quite complex problems that you're probably having at the moment, or simplify that, or incentivize people, or gamify it. There's all sorts of good crypto tools that you've just got to spend some time to learn about in order to try and unlock those areas of business. But it is a bit of a head bender, and it does take a lot of getting your head around, doesn't it? Flash your mics, guys. We've probably got time for one more share or question. If you want to contribute on the conversation, or you want to ask a question around what we've spoke about this morning.
What should people do about their messaging me about Wednesday?
About Wednesday, yeah. So I am trying to. I don't know the exact capacity that we've got in terms of numbers. I'm going to try and iron it out today with the gallery themselves and the person at the gallery to find out exactly the capacity of seats that we have. And then when I have that, I'll create a link that people can just do a very quick registration for and download there'll be download a ticket, just add their name to a guest list or something. Yeah, just message me. So I've got them all, because then I'll fire the links to the relevant people that are in there.
So if you've messaged me.
So DM me. I'm Paul top right at the moment. Send me a direct message just saying event or crypto event or NFT gallery. Call it event. Just send me the one word event. I know some people have been doing it last week as well. I have got you already on a list. and how I'm going to do it is on a first come first serve basis. So people that message me in sort of time and date order, I'll just fire the link away for people and give them a little opportunity to download or register for their ticket. There won't really be a ticket as such. It would just be, it's a bit like a secret party, isn't it? You won't be given the address. You're the only way. Yeah, you'll be given the address. That can be your ticket. But we're just waiting to find out on the exact capacity of how many people it is, because I've got no idea whether it's 50, 25, 75, 100. I've got no idea.
He's ready to go, isn't he, this one?
Get some energy in my legs a bit. Time has flown by this morning, isn't it?
It's flown by, isn't it?
Well, that's for me anyway. Is it for you, Ash? No?
No, I was joking. No,
Time's fly when you're having
I was just
fun.
about to say, you was like, I'm free like between 6 and 8, and I'm thinking it's nearly 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
When are you flying back home?
I was using that as a get-out card just in case.
In case it was rubbish.
No, I thought it finished at 8 o'clock. I forgot. Bear in mind, I'm always listening to you. I'm 3 hours ahead of you, aren't I? 4 hours ahead. So I'm listening to you at a different time of the day.
Lunch.
It's kind of like late morning. It's like, have I missed it? Or is it on? Or
Brunch with winners.
That's why I'm not there more frequently.
Well, when you become a coin holder, you can run rooms at any time you like. You can have Spencer Lodge's offensive lunchtimes.
Do you think, just on that note, do you think I'm offensive?
No, not really.
Do you think I speak what you think?
I think you speak what you think.
but it's
Ash, back me up here, man.
It's you got asked. No, but it's like if you're bothered or you're triggered, why are you triggered? Why are you bothered? Sometimes when you hit with sometimes facts or statements.
We live in times now where 20 years ago we would all just say what we felt. Mm-hmm. And you would say what you want. Mm-hmm. And then the term political correctness come in. Mm-hmm. And we all now live in a world where potentially, like I'm finding myself having to sit around my dining room table with family members and be guarded on what I say, because my opinion might offend the people that I'm sitting around the dinner table with. Now, 20 years ago, I would never have done that. And actually, they're sitting in my house eating my dinner that I paid for, drinking the wine that I paid for. So actually, quite frankly...
Hearing is the problem.
Listen to my opinion if you want.
But that's because you care about... But that's because you care about how someone is offended by something.
Well, no, I don't. But people around you tell you that.
But you can't make a rule over offending someone. You can't make a rule over an offence. It's impossible.
No, and this goes back to the argument of what free speech actually is, isn't it? Free speech means something to you and something to him and something to him. But it's about people being able to say what they want.
Okay, well, as far as I'm concerned, forevermore, you can switch off and you can do whatever you like. Everyone here, you can hate my guts. I'm going to say what's on my mind whenever it's on my mind, and I don't care how anybody receives that, because I'm not trying to offend anyone. No,
exactly, and that's all you're doing, aren't you? You're not trying to be controversial. We are saying what's on our mind.
And I've always heard that if you say something, if the shoe fits, wear it. Like, and it's the industry I grew.
You're like Cinderella with your shoe, aren't you? Because there's only your shoe only fits your foot.
No, but it's
only you and pigs with trotter covers.
No, but the thing is, it's like if something gets said, it's like when I used to. I can buy a double amount of shoes, mate, with my size. No, if the shoe fits, you have to like.
Stop saying the shoe. You're doing something no favours.
Like if the glove fit. If boys' base still fits you, you're in for.
It's Ash at home. Dad, why'd you keep using my shoes? How old's your daughter?
3. We share. I think she can have them soon. I'll wear them out.
She'll grow into them. Yeah.
Dad, get the Lely Kellys off. I'm wearing them to nursery today. Lely Kelly. If you know, you know.
My boy's only one, and we're already sharing.
Somebody's actually, this is a good point to end on. Somebody said there's a difference, but in the chat, somebody's put there's a difference to free speech and just being plain offensive and hiding under the banner of free speech, which I sort of get. But this is the difference: is what's offensive now wasn't offensive 10 years ago. This is the problem, and this is exactly that. Is that people say stuff that's consider stuff being offensive now that wasn't necessarily offensive 10 years ago. So where's the difference? Where's the gap?
I have the benefit of being... One second. I have the benefit of being born in 1970.
I have the benefit of working in...
And I think this is important. We have to respect in all things that we do, and this comes in all directions, we have to respect people that are in a generation where we have used terminology and called them snowflakes, but equally they have to respect the generation that we were all born in and came from, and there's that generational gap that has to be overcome, and people have to respect that, don't they? That is just it.
I remember
what my father-in-law says, who's in his late 60s,
What you told us earlier.
Stuff I told you earlier. Yeah, like, you know, but to him, he's doing nothing wrong because he's been like that and spoke like that his whole entire life. He was raised like that. He spoke like that. He's done absolutely
television programs did that.
Yeah, and he's in his late 60s, and you're never going to change him. But that doesn't mean that he should be kicked out to the curb and never spoken to ever again, locked in a room. You know, and it does it. It doesn't.
No.
I respect the fact.
Ironically, you've kicked him out and you've stuck him in
Now in a little office over there, yeah, where he doesn't have to mix with the public. But
not even a joke.
But I respect the fact that he's 68 and he's got certain views on the world, and they're never going to. There's no point me wasting my time trying to convince him that those views are wrong, because that's his view, and he's right to have his view and opinion.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make him a criminal for having a different.
And if it offends you, tough.
A different view and opinion.
It would make him a criminal if he could say it on social media.
Well, yeah, but this is it, isn't it?
Keep him away from the devices.
We should respect everybody's opinions and views, and equally everybody. If we lived in that world where everybody respected everybody else's opinions and views for what they were, and just that, opinions and views, and you agree to disagree, you move on and get on with it.
Why can't we all just get along, people? Why can't we all just get along?
My great nan used to call me some horrible names, but it was like,
Your great nan?
Yeah, and I used to get really upset as a kid, and then she would stop acting like whatever the word she would call me. I can't really say it now. She'll stop acting like that.
Can you just mute it? Can you mute so she can tell?
Swat.
You're not muted anymore.
Yeah, but she'd be like, stop. And I'm like, and I get really upset as a kid. And she'd be like, well, stop being that then. Like, it was like, that's obviously the era. Like, I don't know if I'm in that here. I used to find a place to sulk when I used to go around my great nans, because I knew some names were being called. Like, she used to just say the truth, and how it was, because that was not a problem.
My dad said about my book, didn't he? Your book's shit. Is it plagiarism? I was like, thanks, Dad. Not seen you for a year.
Stunning review.
Nice to see you too.
Luckily, you can't get on Amazon and put that as an official review.
He wouldn't know how to do that.
Anyway, I think we've covered, we've educated, we've entertained, we've offended in equal measure. Job well done, really, fellas.
Yes. Get in.
It's 9 o'clock.
What are we up to today? What are you doing?
We got your thing today.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Cool. Was that today?
What, you got a violin concerto? What are you doing, a solo?
No, our Fortitude Mastermind members are being glorified with my presence.
Is that today?
On a Zoom call, like a virtual masterclass.
When have I got to do one of those things? I've got to do.
You make that sound. Let me. You're really super excited to be coming along to be a contributing member.
I'm so excited! I can't wait to do it.
The honour will be.
I'm bursting.
Try not to offend anyone in the room at the time.
Just offended Paul Abercrombie.
Anyway, we're past our 9 o'clock moment. People, thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Follow me on Instagram.
All right, go and follow Spencer.
Follow Spencer on Instagram. Spencer.lodge. Go follow me.
And on a serious note, actually, if you want to be educated on various things, do check out Spencer's podcast, because we've joked around this morning a bit. I actually said to Spencer, it's the only non-crypto podcast that I listen to. There we go.
And my podcast is called All About Crypto.
Yeah. If that's a stunning review or not, I don't know. But
thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate it.
He needed a stunning review after his book review.
I'll message Spencer every time I listen to a good episode. I'll send Spencer a nice message saying good episode.
Yeah. Both you and James do. Yeah. Ashley doesn't, but you and James doesn't. Ashley doesn't listen
to podcasts yet, does he?
He's still listening to De La Soul in his car on the way to work in the morning.
De La Soul. Or nursery rhymes.
You don't even know that, do you?
Friday we'll play you some De La Soul.
George Benson.
Oh no, I like a bit of George Benson.
Yeah, George Benson. Bit of Alexander O'Neill.
Bit of Smooth on the way.
Bit of Luther.
Thank God you start playing the jingle.
Can't feel myself. I don't want nobody else to ever love me.
Just mute him.
You are my shining star, my guiding light, my love fantasy.
This is offensive.
Let's go.
Bye.